Hey everyone, guess what? We do not have ugly swag. We have spaced out radio gear that you're going to want to wear. Why? Because no one wants to wear ugly clothing. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com and go shopping today. You'll be glad you did. And it's a great way to support our show. Once you get your gear, send us a picture of you rocking out in your SOR swag. spacedoutradio.com, shop there today, and make yourself look good.
I'm not a good pretender, I never could live a lie. I said too much, I let it get the best of me, until it took the rest of me. I thought it was worth the fight, to fight for what's right, to right all the wrongs, to sing in our songs, to know we belong. No one understands, they don't have the desire, got the legs in the fire, and I do it again. We give it all we can, all we have is desire, got the legs in the fire, we burn and still say never say, never say, never say, never again. I never say, never say, never say, never again. I learned more from one enemy than from 1,000 friends. That heaven takes care of the fools and scoundrels in the end. You learn more from one lie than from 1,000 truths.
Greetings, space travelers. Welcome home. You just tuned your dial to Spaced Out Radio, the only place where you can own the night. I am your host, Mr. Rob G. And tonight, we'll be broadcasting to you on our terrestrial affiliates across North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, and Odyssey Radio. You can access the archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Spaced Out Radio. That's Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where the options are endless. You can stay up to date with the SOR Newswire, get some official Spaced Out swag, plus rock out to some Bumblefoot, and oh so much more. Welcome to the After Hours. We're going to get it going on tonight. This is Saturday. I hope you guys had a great week. Let's go ahead and get this weekend kicked off right. We have a fantastic guest tonight. We have Ed Odell. He's a podcast host, paranormal researcher, and into some of the things that you saw on the thumbnail. So it's about to go down. I think we're going to have a great conversation tonight. Can't wait to get this thing going. Can't wait to see who is in the chat tonight. Now, I got an email letting me know who the top people in the chat were. So all the metal positions, right? So I got Race Fan with the gold. I got Deidre C with the bronze, and I got Corey with Deidre got the silver. I'm sorry. Corey got the bronze. So I'm just looking at Deidre saying, good evening, Mr. Rob G. Looking forward to the show. Great. I'm glad you're here, Deidre C. We're going to definitely have a great conversation. I think it's going to be awesome, right? Okay. Thanks for coming on in. Corey, thanks for doing what you do, Mr. Rob G. Hey, I couldn't do it without you guys, so I just thank you guys for showing up so we could have something to do and we can go ahead and further this conversation as we're going to do tonight. It's going to be a great guest. I guarantee you that. Thanks for coming in, though, Corey. Thanks for your support as well. Deb from SAC. Hey, Rob G, want some trivia for tonight? I know you're on top of that, Deb from SAC, and we may just have some time for that at the tail end of the show. Still going to have Travis Mustu in for hour 3, like we always do. Awesome hour 3, but we may be able to squeeze that in somewhere towards the end. So I do appreciate you, Deb from SAC, coming on in with your support, and long time no see. Glad to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. We got Grandmaster UV coming on in saying, hey, race fan. Hey, everyone. And then, hey, SOR. Definitely appreciate you coming on in, Grandmaster UV. Another name I haven't seen in a while, so I'm glad you came back. You came back on a perfect day. It's going down tonight at the after hours. You can guarantee that it's a for sure thing. It's a for sure thing. Ask around. It's a for sure thing. I appreciate you getting down the list here. Let's see who else we have in here. And let me go ahead and stop real quick because we got Roger Murray in the building, and Roger Murray is letting everyone know, and Ed Odell know, happy Father's Day. Appreciate you, Roger Murray. Happy Father's Day right back to you. Assuming you are a father, right? But even so, you said it to me. I'm gonna say it back to you. So thank you so much for coming on in, Roger Murray. We do appreciate you. We got Jessica S stepping in the building, saying howdy, Mr. Rob G, mods and chatters. Hi, Ed. Thank you for coming in, Jessica S. You always support, and you're the bomb, and we do appreciate you showing up here tonight at the after hours. Let's see, who else do we have in the chat? Who else do we have in the chat? Melvin from Mars. How about them Oilers, eh? Hello to all. So I guess you're saying the Oilers won. I don't keep up on that thing called hockey, the figure skating / barroom brawls game. I guess you call it sport if you want to. But I'm assuming they won if you're saying that. So thanks for coming on in, Melvin from Mars. We do appreciate you showing up. And we have the guy, the man with the plan, the man who showed up on my show, right? My experience with the phenomena, my first guest, Aloha Dave, who came in and shared an awesome experience. Make sure you guys go to my channel. I do have a channel, and I do have awesome content over there. So make sure you guys go and check that out. It's youtube.com/ at Mr. Rob G, the same way you see it spelled at the top of your screen there. Make sure you come and give a sub. Make sure you give some likes and listen to Aloha Dave share his experience. There's many more to come, viewers like yourself. So be sure to tune in and then maybe even come in and talk about it, right? Hope so. Buenas noches a todo de Mexico. Good evening to everyone from Mexico. I appreciate you keeping us bilingual, Aloha Dave, like you always do. Really appreciate you for coming on in and supporting the show too. Lars, I've been saying Jansen, but listening to Dave, I'm assuming it's a soft J. So it's Lars Jansen. Tell me if I'm right. I think that might be the first time I said it right, saying good morning all. Thank you for coming on in, Lars. We do appreciate you showing on up tonight. At the after hours, go ahead and get down the list here, see who else has shown up. Vash the Impeller, haven't seen Vash in a while. Vash the Impeller, hey all, happy Father's Day with the wavy hand, alien head, and ghost emoji. Hey Vash, thanks for coming on in. We do appreciate you. Deb from SAC, I just got to bring this up because this is an awesome comment. Let's rock this. Boo. I don't want to say it because we still early in the, YouTube checks the first part of the video. So in this, we're going to rock it for sure for you, Deb. Don't even worry about it. We're going to definitely get into it. Miss Mama Catherine Jones in the building. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Saying, hey, Mr. Rob G. Hey, Miss Mama Catherine Jones. Do appreciate you showing on up, as you always do. You come in to support. There's no doubt about that. We do appreciate you showing on up. Did I say Melvin from Mars? If not, he says Rob G. Melvin from Mars. Do appreciate you coming on in. You always are supporting as well, Melvin, and I do appreciate you showing up, bringing the good energy into the building. That's really, and we don't want any of that negative stuff. No trolls, no negativity. We want all that positive stuff because positive is positive and creates positive. And then as soon as I say that, I get to my guy, Lil Count 51, who's actually over on Twitch right now, who's talking about a mass shooting in Michigan. Oh, 9+ people shot. Oh my God, that is horrible. Uh, Prayers to those involved in that situation. And I noticed you said shot and not unalive. So hopefully that's the case, and hopefully it stays that way. But prayers out to those involved in that. Appreciate you, Lil Cam 51, for keeping us informed on that. And thanks for coming in and supporting as well. Let's see, getting down the list. And I'm going to try to get through because we have the weekly review, obviously, we're going to get to in a moment. First super chat of the night, Deb from Saxon. Happy Saturday, Rob G. Deb, thank you so much for your support of Spaced Out Radio. You know we love you. You know we love you. And I know you love us. So we do appreciate any support that we can get here. And yeah, definitely. Oh my God, here we go. Mike Jones. I ain't seen Mike Jones in a while. Mike Jones, I appreciate you. Like, sub, share at the Social Dig with Rob G. I appreciate you, Mike Jones. Mike Jones is definitely someone who goes over to my channel, the Social Dig, and supports over there as well, along with Deb from SAC, Mama Catherine, a lot of the people here in the chat. And it's definitely a great place to be. So appreciate you, Mike Jones, for putting that out there. And thanks for showing up tonight. It's been a minute. Penny, thanks so much for coming on in. Penny, good Saturday evening, everyone. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. We do appreciate that, Penny. We really, really do. It's you got Mother's Day, you got Father's Day. You can choose to spend these days with your kids, or you could be selfish and be about yourself and go do something that a dad wants to do, right? So it's up to you how you want to spend this day, which is actually tomorrow. But hey, it's all good. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but we'll figure it out. Thanks for coming in, Penny. Thanks for the love. Brown Dwarf. Brown Dwarf is here saying good evening. Appreciate you, sir. Salute. Thanks for coming on in, Brown Dwarf, who has an awesome channel and an awesome shop. If you're in the LA area, go check out Brown Dwarf. He has a shop. I still have to get down there. I'm about an hour north. I have to go down there, and I'm going to just pop up in Brown Dwarf shop one day. I ain't going to tell him I'm coming. I'm going to just drop in. Appreciate you coming in, Brown Dwarf. Kurt M saying hi, all the wavy hand emoji. Hi, Kurt M. Thanks for showing on up tonight. We appreciate you. Whoa, magnetic is attractive. See how long I can stay up. Head is killing me. 2 Tylenols or 2 Motrins, magnetic is. Get about 30 minutes, and I think you might be okay. But let me know. I understand if you have to step out. I appreciate you just coming in and showing your love, man, like you always do since day one. Let's see. Who else do we got here? We are moving. Moving. Okay, we got a Robert Odell. Any relation to the Ed Odell that we have backstage? I don't know. Saying to rock the RVA Paranormal. Appreciate you coming on in, Robert. Showing your love here at Spaced Out Radio. If you're new, let me just do the run. I have to do this if you're new, right? So if you're new, we do this 7 days a week. So you're catching the after hours, which we run Saturday and Sundays, 8 p.m. Pacific till 11 p.m. Pacific. You got the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, who is on Sunday. So you can catch her tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right before the after hour show. So you watch her show, roll right on over here to this show. And then Monday through Friday, you got the captain of the Woo Train, Dave Scott, running the Woo Train Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Pacific until midnight. 7 days a week, y'all have something to do here at Spaced Out Radio. So we appreciate you subscribing, hitting the like button, and coming back and checking out more content. Thanks for coming in, Robert Odell. Rain C saying hola, Rain C. Thank you so much for coming on in. We appreciate you coming in and showing your love here at the after hours tonight. We got Spite Fairy saying, hey, hugs, 5. Okay, I know who that is. You're under a new alias. It is Elf, and we do appreciate you coming on in. Elf, like always, thanks for showing up. And you rebranded, and I love it, Thanks for coming in, Elf. Let's see, Eclectic Spiritual People saying hi, all. I like that. Eclectic Spiritual People, which I consider myself that as well. So I identify. Thanks for coming on in. Flat 6, everything, everyone. Okay. That makes me think, Class 6. I appreciate you coming on in and showing love here tonight. Um, let's see. We got Roger Murray, Rob G, not father, son, Vietnam. I'm missing that. I probably should see it, but I'm missing that, Roger Murray. Fill in the blanks for me. Appreciate you. Let's see. Ruva saying hello, everyone. First time here. Well, I hope you caught the spill 7 days a week right here, Spaced Out Radio. Catch awesome content. That's just the brief version. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and come back. Every night it goes down right here on Spaced Out Radio. Amy WC, thanks for coming on in saying, hey, everyone. Appreciate you showing up. Amy WC, another name I haven't seen in a while. Thanks for showing up, Amy WC. We appreciate you coming in. Jennifer, thank you for coming back again. SOR Rob G, peace sign, cheesy emoji. We do appreciate you showing up. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. Nicole Ryan, another new name saying hi, all. Thanks for coming on in, Nicole. We do appreciate you showing up here at the After Hours tonight. Getting down the list here. Usually trying to get down as quick as possible. You can tell I'm trying to get down because we have to get into the SOR weekly review. So let me make sure I'm not missing anyone else. Let's see. Oh, now you're back to Puck Elf. Okay. I understand. Okay, Puck Elf, we can see you. Phineas Coathanger saying, yo, Rob G. Phineas Coathanger, thanks so much for coming on in from X. We do appreciate you showing your love all the way over there from X. Christine saying, hi, Robbie G. Hey, Christine, thanks for coming on into the After Hours. You already know the program. Thanks for showing on up and showing the love. Susan Place, hello, everyone. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We do appreciate you, Susan Place. Thank you so much for dropping that in and giving us love like you always do. Let's see. Coming down the list. Who else do we got here? I am obviously behind because Deb from Sac threw another super chat in the building. She threw another one. All the zombies coming out for Rob G tonight. Ha ha ha. Appreciate you, Deb from Stack. That's a man back to back. Okay, I love it. Thanks for coming on in and keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's see, Paul Demond. Hi, Rob. Have a great show. You know we try to do that, Paul Demond, just for you, specifically for you. Okay, so thanks for coming on in, Paul Demond. I'll make sure that we do what it is that we do here tonight. And moving. I'm almost to the bottom. It looks like I'm getting close. So Carolyn Shellhorn saying hi, Robert Odell. Hi, Rob G. Oh, okay. So it's Rob and Rob. Got it. Thank you, Carolyn, for bringing me up to speed on that. And thanks for coming on in. Consider hitting that subscribe button, that notification bell, and coming back because we do it here 7 days a week. And check out the Cryptid Hunters, Jessica Jones, as Mike Jones says. Yes, Laura Lee Seaton saying Rob G. Hey, Laura Lee Seaton, thanks so much for coming on in. You've been coming around a lot lately, and I really am enthused that you have decided to come in and join the family like that. So thanks for coming on in, Laura Lee Seaton. And thanks for showing your love tonight. Karen in the Woo Train. Hello, Mr. Rob. Hey, Karen. Riding the Woo Train. And you know that's what we do here. So appreciate you coming on in, Karen. Thanks for showing your love. Let's see. We are almost there. Ooh, 29 likes. Yikes. I understand we haven't got it going yet, but we got more than 29 people here. Can we hit those like buttons and kind of get those numbers up? Let's at least have this show with 100 by the end of the show. Can we do that? That's all I'm asking. If we could at least do that, we'd appreciate it. Let me see. Who else do we got here? Mama Catherine Jones showing love. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day to the SOR fathers. That is so sweet. Thank you so much for doing that. And we do all appreciate it. Okay. I think we are now current. Yes, we are. And I think I said Penny, but I want to make sure, Penny, Thank you for coming on in case I didn't say your name. So with that being said, we're going to have a great night. We're going to have a great night. Let me just reiterate, we are going to have a great night. But what we need to do first is do as we always do and hop in the SOR time machine and go back and check out the week that was Spaced Out Radio. We had an awesome week. You know, we had Dave with the earache, but we still made it work. And we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what it was that you may or may not have missed in the SOR weekly review. So here we go. Kick back and enjoy the show.
I actually contemplated ghost hunting for about a month after that, of like, if this is something I really want to do.
I can see. I would question it too, especially when you're getting sick. I don't like getting feeling like I have been overpowered by some kind of energy, especially if it's a dark kind of energy.
And that's where, like, I really thought about it, of maybe I was being a little bit of a prick talking to them. But I'm a lot softer, and the whole introducing yourself with respectful intent is kind of like number one. Okay. Marty did have fun in Virginia City. It was awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Marty's in the chat. Hey, Marty, it's good to see you. Yeah, we had a nice big group, and I know it was a lot of fun. I know I got separated from the group at some point. I wandered off, and I met back up, and it was, I mean, we went all over that town, though, right? I mean, it was like hotels. We went to the courthouse. We were at bars. They even have like 24-hour casino machines in some of those places.
Yep.
So it's easy to get lost in there. For sure.
And then after Reno, like when everyone went home, I stayed for 4 days after.
Okay, and this is what I wanted to hear about. Like this is what I've been dying to hear about. Tell us, please.
So I stayed for 2 nights at the Silver Queen Hotel. Okay. And then I stayed for 2 nights at the Gold Hill Hotel. And and it's funny because the first night, Brad, who was with us, he's like, and they're like, can we come up and ghost hunt with you for a night? So I'm like, absolutely. So they drove up and then like drove home after. And it was kind of neat because Anae's a medium. Okay. And I saw her. So I was staying in room 11 of the Silver Queen Hotel. And the lore of room 11 is a lady of the night unalived herself in the bathtub there.
So that's the crystal ball. And what took me years to notice is you could see the pyramid inside the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there was a few accounts on the internet that said that on the other side of the ball, like you saw an eyeball. I don't see one in there, but I don't know, maybe if it's in your hand rotating around, right, you could see something like that.
Perspective, right, exactly. Mm-hmm. Let's see, and then this one here.
And then it got dropped, which is very devastating because that's like, to me, that's like the most historical artifact you could ever find. And it was dropped, mishandled. And then it was attempted to be glued back together, but then it just got dropped again, and it was in 3 different pieces.
Yeah, that's how do you do that? This should be in a glass case, protected. This should never even be handled. Truthfully, you would think they would treat it with that much care, but yeah, supposedly that this is supposed to tie back to the Atlanteans and the lost city of Atlantis, and you know, I guess you were stating the other gentleman thought or figured that the ruins that he had that Ray discovered was the lost city of Atlantis because it's supposedly in the same geographic area that they think that Atlantis was. So they and I guess it was the perfect storm because literally, figuratively, that you know, the erosion from the bottom of the sea uncovered and allowed him to actually see these things. Now, they did say that it did emit this sort of energy, and it I know because I saw that episode that you're talking about, and I know he had almost like one of those dowsing rods.
Yeah.
where he was like, he was basically saying that anytime this rod got close, with the metal tip got close enough to the sphere, that the energy from the sphere kind of made the rod, levitate and do all these weird things. So like an energy being possessed within that sphere. Now, those people who sell the crystals, I think they say that these crystals are energetically charged from this sphere. Is that correct? Or
Yes,
is that
yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. She would let it bathe with the original crystal orb, and then bathe with the shards.
So what do you think that represents? Like, do you think that with the energy part of that, do you think that's something that it's charged from the Earth's own magnetic force and energy, or what is your theory or idea behind that? What have you uncovered?
I like trying to uncover it. It just leads to more questions
True.
because, like, there was a story of when this orb went to Florida for a meet and greet. They said that lightning shot out of it and it struck a woman, and she was unconscious and she had to go to the hospital. And when she came to, like, out of her coma, she actually had like a underlying health issue that was just untreatable. But when she awoke, like, and was released from the hospital, like, later she learned that she didn't have this health problem anymore.
Let's talk about the case of Clara Fowler. Who is Clara Fowler?
Clara Fowler was, first of all, I have to tell you, it's set in 1898 in Back Bay, Boston, among the Beacon Hill elite. And Clara Fowler was a Radcliffe student who was 22. She went to a regular doctor complaining about loss of appetite and chronic fatigue and nightmares. This was in Putnam, a Boston Brahmin. It turned out that she was starting to display symptoms of demonic possession. And by that, I mean speaking in strange voices, strange languages, and kind of menacing and threatening. So he turned her over to Dr. Morton Prince, who was a psychotherapist and one of the founders, along with William James, of abnormal psychiatry. And they studied this woman from 1898 to 1904, when she was eventually cured through an exorcism.
Wow. How did you come across this story?
Well, when I was a student at Georgetown quite a number of years ago, it would have been 1972, they were filming the movie The Exorcist, William Peter Blatty and Billy Friedkin. And I was a student. I was writing all along. I've been writing since the 6th grade. So I had my first novel, my first book. And I desperately wanted to get it into the hands of William Peter Blatty. And eventually I met his secretary, who passed it along to him. I went back home to New Jersey, where my parents lived and I lived at the time, for Thanksgiving. I got a phone call from Bill Blatty saying he liked the story a lot. We met. He said, it's a little personal, as most first novels are. He said, but I'll tell you what, I will help you with your next novel, and I'll even give you a good head start on it. And he gave me the background on the Clara Fowler case and sent me in the direction of the Harvard Medical School Library, the archives there, where it was just a treasure trove of research.
Lorian Fenton is here, checking on out and hanging on out with us to talk about ufology. Is it dying? And this comes on recent comments that Congressman Tim Burchett made, saying that they're getting frustrated that there's no answers coming out from the people they need answers from, including Arrow, which said they do not trust what Arrow is saying to the public. They're not seeing any transparency with information. Everything has to be behind closed doors. It's not looking good. And this furthermore goes back to a point where a couple of years ago, Lou Elizondo wrote an article, which you could Google, basically saying ufology must die. that it's time to change how we look at ufology and change it to upology because they love their UAPs. Okay. And that the old school way of looking at this subject needs to go away and come into the 21st century. Lorian, I'm curious. You've been around the block enough times with this subject. You've been there and back at least 25, 30 times minimum. Where do we stand on this? Do we think ufology is dying?
Well, it's interesting what Scott Burchett said, because what they're doing is they're grandstanding the politicians, is what they're doing, as usual. And when I say they, I'm talking about the people in the dark recesses of all the alphabet agencies who do not want this out. Now, the main reason they probably don't want it out is, I got to give all credit to Michael Schratt for doing all the work on this. Have you had him on recently, by the way?
No, I got to get Michael back on.
Okay, now, what Michael has been saying for years, and the first time I met Michael many, many years ago, this was our first topic that we talked about. We didn't talk about the crashes that he's really known for, is his artwork and all the things he's done around that. What we talked about was the expenditure in the black budget, about how much money they're making off of ufology. Now, in the dark recesses of the ufology, wherever they're, trying to, what do they call that? Back engineer all the technology through Boeing and Lockheed Martin and, all these places. These guys are making millions and millions and millions of dollars in a black budget project where they're charging the regular military $9,000 for a hammer.
So you told us about the shadow people that you saw when you were a child. Have those same shadow people followed you through adulthood?
They actually did for a little while. When I was 18, 19, I was dating my first fiance way back then, high school sweetheart type stuff. And he was living with us for a little while, and then we moved to his mom's house, and that house started getting weird activity, and I didn't really correlate it until I had an interview with Bill and Jackie for their book coming up, Trauma and like the correlation between trauma and the paranormal. They asked me the same question, and it, like, I don't know where it rang a bell. I was like, oh my gosh, it did follow me. I forgot about that. So when we were living at his house, he had two siblings that lived there, both older than us. His older sister and his brother all lived upstairs, and we were on the main floor. And there were a few times where she would tell us that she would pull up into the driveway after work, and she would see a shadow person in her room. So she thought somebody broke into the house. So she would call the police, and nobody was in the house. Or this one time, his older brother was walking down the stairs, and he saw a person in the living room just staring off into space. So he went upstairs and grabbed his bat, and when he came back down, nobody was there. So a lot of stuff like that happened while we lived there, and then we would have stuff just disappear or get moved or something. And then there were times where I would feel watched a lot, like I did at the old house, that sick to my stomach feeling. And then we moved out and went in, we got like our own little apartment, and I don't believe it followed us there. I don't think it did, but it definitely did it when we were living with his mom for a little while. So he actually experienced a lot of the stuff that I did, and it was kind of a relief that somebody else was experiencing the same stuff that I was.
All right, that was the SOR Weekend Review. As you know, another awesome week here at Spaced Out Radio. If you miss any of those shows, definitely jump into our archives because they're completely free. And you can get those at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. So what we're going to do, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get ready to jump into the show and get with our guest, because I can't wait to go ahead and talk to this gentleman. Mr. Ed Odell, who was a co-founder at the Riv Nation Network, as you can see him in the chat. The All Seeing Paranormal Society, where he's a co-founder and a host at the Orion Effect podcast, researcher at Project 360. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for tonight, Mr. Ed Odell. Hello, Ed. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm
ready?
totally ready. Yeah. I'm
This
ready.
is for you, and this is for everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we like to welcome you to the Master Rob G, also along with the original social media hitman himself, the Cosmic Surfer Ed Odell. Good evening, and welcome to the show.
That's what I'm talking about. I wish I had an air horn for you. A pom pom pom. That was awesome, dude. Okay, you got me pumped up now. All
That's
right, so let's do this. Let's do this thing. So, okay. Now I've looked in. We've been in communication for a while when we had this all set up, so I had a chance to kind of check you out. See, I saw you very charismatic, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. If you wouldn't mind, this is how most interviews start. First time meeting, you wouldn't mind talking about being young and kind of what guided you along the path that you're on now and into the place where you're at. Any weird things happen, paranormal, ET, anything at all? Okay. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. First of all, good evening, everybody. Carrie Lynn, my sister, is in the house. Rob is in the house. That's my brother. Nikki, she's part of my social circle, my spiritual team, if you will. All of them are my spiritual team. Catherine, I want to thank everybody. Thank you for taking the time. It's so light here because it's 11:30 here on the East Coast. So props. Second thing is, I just got to let you know, I'm giving you as much as I can. I have torn tendonitis and muscle structure in my right ribs. So I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, it's pretty painful. But
yes, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate
you. I appreciate you coming and wanting me out here. Wow, where do I start? Me and Rob's raising is not the same as everybody else when it comes to the paranormal. Majority of the time, you hear these people, and I'm going to take these off. I can't see for a minute, but I'll. A lot of people have paranormal experiences that got them into the paranormal. They had advancements. They had something happen, yet it be, like you said, ufology or spiritual, something like that. Hey, Jennifer. However, Rob and I were not raised that way. We are the grandsons of two Methodist preachers. Thank you, Para. And my father was, or our father was, our Army Air Corps intel officer for the Enola Gay. And my mother, and my mother, of course, was the daughter of a Methodist preacher. So Methodist preachers would go all over. Only every 2 years they would move. So our father pretty much introduced us and got us involved with the paranormal and the spiritual, more so the paranormal, surprisingly enough. So that's really how we got going. Kenny, or Robert, he has more ability than I do. I feel not like you see most people and go, well, what do you got? What can you do? Oh, Jesus Christ. If I hear that one more damn time, sorry.
You're good.
But, that's not the way I roll. I'm very sensitive to static, electricity in the air, just because physically, I have no sinuses from here. So I have very undeveloped sinuses. And I had a car accident back in 87, which has made me very sensitive, if you will, to the spiritual world. I'll go with that. I think that's a good way of putting it. Rock on, Roger. So we were pretty much raised. Now, again, Robert had more experiences because he's older. But my first paranormal experience was with my brother and about 7 others of us. We were doing the kids thing when we were teenagers, going through the woods and creating havoc. And it was about 7 of us. And we were walking down this one path leading to one of the community colleges. and we passed this dude who was wearing a yellow jacket, a pair of plaid shorts, and I want to say it was a teal shirt. And we're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he just didn't even glance at us. Really, he just had this really cold look on her face. We're like, "Well, okay, dude, whatever your choice is, whatever." I'm being real good, by the way. So we go cruise on. We see a tent that's up in the woods about 30 yards off to our right, up on the hill. We're like, okay, we didn't think of it. Somebody's, camping out in the woods. Hey, okay. We come back. He's nowhere to be seen, but you still see this tent because it's there. It's like, boom, yay, look. Like, whatever. Get back, and we're talking to my parents, and my mom goes, "What did you see? Where?" So we told her, and she stopped, and she showed us the article in the newspaper that a young man had committed suicide in those woods 2 days earlier.
Wow.
And exactly where it was, and the tent, and he had a falling out with his parents, and he said he couldn't take life anymore, and he broke up with his girlfriend. So unfortunately, he left us. YouTube, gotta love him. And that there was, again, 7 of us, which, if you're paranormal, that's a mass haunting. So I had that with him, and it just carried on. I was talking about the car accident. Car accident was something different too. That was in 87, 88. I hydroplaned on a back road and took my car into 4 trees at 122 miles per hour. They all hit my side of the car. I was pretty messed up. But the gentleman who was with me didn't get a scratch. Not a scratch.
Wow.
He was able to get me out of the car. I remember the dashboard brightening up like a big, brilliant light. Now, okay, do you recall the song Pure Energy?
Maybe if I heard it.
All right, it had Spock in it. It said Pure Energy. I wish I could remember how it really goes right now. But that was playing when we crashed. When I came to, and I couldn't see really well, it was playing country, and I can't stand country. So that was ironic. I can now, but back then I really did. I was a metalhead. So, it was really weird going, okay, what's this all about? I get to the hospital, and I get pulled out of the car, and I literally, Information Society, thank you, Mag. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you. So I walked to the stretcher, and they're all mumbling like, how the hell, finally pass out on the stretcher. And as I'm going through the hallway, I could hear a lady. Here you go. Hear a lady talking, and it was a nurse of some sort. Pretty cool. She was really comforting, really nice, and I know there was about 3 or 4 other guys. Got me in. I did all this. They put me through all the tests and everything. Got me into CCU, and then we're getting ready to leave, and I was like, I want to get flowers. That I did. I got flowers for the entire staff. My mom helped me with that, and took flowers up. And KLF, oh, dude, Flat 6, you rock, dude. Another one of my favorite bands. That's kind of spooky. I love KLF. Wow. All right. So I get up there, and come to find out, there was never a nurse that attended me coming off of the stretcher into the hospital. So call that what you will. Call that what you will. Maybe I was touched. I don't know. Something saved my butt.
Yeah.
9 lives. I've got 6. Nope. I'm missing 6. I got 3 to go.
It sounds like it. That's insane. That's insane. So, yeah. So immediately. So that's why you laughed, because, you had a lot of doses early on, and that being exposed to this phenomena, whatever it is. What do you? So, guardian angel, is that what you think, or what are you feeling like?
Brother, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just like I say about the paranormal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Could it have been a guardian angel? Could it have been an ancestor? Could it have been the psychosis of the synapses firing and me just thinking someone's there? Same thing with the dashboard, those bright lights. Could that have just been the stems and the ockeries in the back of my eyeballs glycerin to the light and reflecting and me thinking? I don't know. But it changed me in a lot of ways. I was ED, so flatline for 3 minutes and 26 seconds.
Wow.
I don't remember that. I had cardiac arrest from the trauma to my heart. I had broken 18 ribs, punctured my lung, my liver, split my spleen in 2 places. I was pretty messed up. And I was out of the hospital in about a week and a half. And I blame that on self-healing. I listen to a lot of music, and I still do to this day. And I feel that we have the ability to heal ourselves to a certain extent. And I had an intent, get out of that hospital for a social reason back then too. I was like, I'm not being held down. And at that time, I was going to a military academy, Hargrave Military Academy in Danville, Virginia. And my other goal was to get back to the academy, and prove everybody wrong. I've been doing that pretty much all my life. I've been fighting demons all my life, which I want to make a correction about real quick, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I am not a demonologist. I don't claim to be a demonologist. I've never been to school for demonology. I do know my stuff. I have done the research and the background for all of it, but I am not a demonologist. So I want everybody to understand I am not a demonologist, but I am a paralogian. I was named that by a wonderful name, Kevin Malik. He was a wonderful man who passed away, unfortunately, too early. But I was on a show, and he's like, "You are totally a paralogian." Kind of like a paranormal theologian, if you will.
Okay.
That's how it came about.
Yeah, no, I saw you on an interview, and I saw you stated that you were going to start looking into demonology, like studying it, like you just said.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
and I'm gonna have some questions about just, obviously you're not gonna be an expert on this, but just to even know what that is, because I think I didn't know initially, and I know a lot of people out there don't even know probably what it is. But what I would say is, you said we're gonna have fun, and then it kind of took a dark turn.
it seems dark, but you have to go through the dark to get to the light.
There you go. I like that. I like that.
One of the things I will say about that is you have to have your experiences, and you were referring to, what did you do? What have you done? I have done a lot of studying. I am a historian of parapsychology and paranormal. And I stand by my statement. We don't know anything about the paranormal. We don't know anything. We don't know how many entities and spirits are out there. We don't know how they're connected. We know, I've got, like I said, my family and my circles here. And I allow their opinions. Without having opinions of others, we can't build our own created universe in our thoughts. So they help me expand while I talk to them. So, some of them believe in aliens. Some of them believe in spirits and demons. Some of them believe in just entities from a dimension or from somewhere else. I believe in all of it. Again, that's something else that me and Robert have in common is y'all's comments are going so fast, guys. Sorry. We did have the same dreams when we were kids, which is kind of weird, being left at home. And I'm hiding back then we had what they call a dry sink. And my parents were in antiques, and I used to hide in it. And I remember when I was a kid, it always seemed like I was hiding in it. My parents were never there, but something was outside of the house. Come to find out here in the last couple of years, Rob had the same dreams. He felt the same way at times. And we were in the same house. So it was really cool and interesting. Now, is that ufology or is that dimensional? Do we have the ability to control our destiny through dimensional insight?
I got something for you on that. And I just want to start off and say your brother is probably awesome because his name is Rob. And shout out to Rob out there. I know you've got to be an awesome brother. And it's like actually, you know, a lot of people don't have what you're describing, which is like an actual support base, a soundboard to be able to bounce this stuff off of. A lot of people are dealing with the phenomena on their own, and trying to, you know, guide themselves through it on their own. So that's awesome that you had that.
Yeah, that's how I
And
created ASPS. That's
yeah,
why I
yeah,
created it.
yeah. Okay, exactly. Now you stated that you mentioned being able to control your destiny essentially. Can you repeat that last statement you made, because I want to make sure I have that correct?
Some feel that we have the ability to create and to control our destiny through our dimensional insight. I'm a man of science. I believe in quantum. I live quantum. And if we can understand the premises, then our lives can be better. And sometimes it takes major events, crashing or losing parents, losing a loved one, um, to wake us up. Maybe even losing your own life, which is what kind of did to me. In 2021, I had a massive heart attack and it wasn't a heart attack. I can't say it was a heart attack because it didn't affect the inside, but my widowmaker was 99.9 block and my blood pressure was at 215. So I was either stroking or having a heart attack.
Mm.
And after that, the situation I was in woke me up, and this is not where I'm supposed to be. This is not who I'm supposed to be with. This is not the way I'm supposed to be thinking. It's not the way I'm supposed to be acting. Come to find out through all of that, that I had hypertension, which is family related. A lot of things got put in perspective for me. And just in the last 3 or 4 years, I've changed my whole sight of how it is now. I acknowledge myself now. So, can we control which way we're going? Sure. I really believe that we can control. It's not, we're going to have our destiny. We are going to reach where we're going to be. But can you make it easier or harder for yourself? Wouldn't you rather make it easier for you to get to your own destiny than it would be harder?
I agree with that, and I can see that. I've thought about, and this is what I thought you were saying. You know, as far as the way you live out your life. So so you had your car accident and you had the near death experience. So I'm under
Twice.
the thought process that what may be happening is, and this is just theory, all right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's all we got.
exactly. So I'm like, okay, you're in this dimension, you're going down this path, you run into this near death experience where maybe in this current dimension, you don't make it out of that. However, in that moment, you jump over to a parallel dimension where you made it out of that, right? And then that happens again, so you run into the next incident where you may have not made it, but then you jump over to the next one and you're able to continue on. I just think about that because even myself, I've been in a lot of situations where I look back and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have got out of that. Like, how was I so lucky to miss that or bypass that? And it's just, I just have to think like maybe I was in a dimension where I didn't make it out of that, but in that moment I was able to move over to a parallel dimension which allowed me to continue on. What do you think about that, Ed?
That goes into quantum circular theory. One merging into another. Oh, did you see that? That was pretty cool. Let's do that again. Yay. Um, I have a story about that. I have another story. Hey, I'm filled with them tonight. Woohoo!
So
First,
we have about 5 minutes, then we take our break. So
Yeah.
just so you know the time frame.
No problem. Real quick, the widowmaker is your top artery that goes up from your heart. So I know somebody was like, "What's the widowmaker?" The widowmaker is your main artery that'll go up from your heart up to your neck. That's why it's called the widowmaker, because a lot of people actually die from that actual thing. So After the car accident, something else took place. Me and the individual that I was with, I was in the kitchen, and I walked up, and there was a lot of stuff in the backyard where we lived, and I looked out the window, and the stuff was not there. Was not there, and I'm like, wait, did somebody come get such and such? Da 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 da. And they were like, no. I was like, come here. So they stepped into the kitchen and looked to the window. Nothing was there. Everything was gone. It was like a flat backyard. And she had looked at me like, what the WTF, right? I'm like, I don't know. I guess the landlords had called somebody. We go out of the kitchen, talk a little bit, come back in to get a cup of coffee. I'm looking in the window and everything's back.
Wow.
You explain that to me, Rob.
I know.
Dude, I think we can certain people have the ability to, just like people have a unique sense of extrasensory perception, other people may have a direct connection to dimensional interchange. That's what, I think we were talking about. Could that burst have put me in a completely different, could it have saved my life, actually?
Right.
Because that energy burst put me in a bubble, which kept me from dying.
Right.
By all means, the good Lord should have taken my butt upstairs.
Yeah. And even something as simple as, which I'm sure a lot of people have experienced, like the missing remote or the missing thing that you just put down there, and you look there and it's no longer there. And then you go all around the house and you come back to the same spot and it's there.
Yeah, that leads into the Mandela effect. Exactly.
That is, and it can't be a hiccup of the mind. It can't be, a brain fart with everyone experiencing that. There has to be something else to that.
Let's talk about the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect.
Let's talk about that when we come back, because that's exactly what you're talking about. Poof.
Yes. Okay, so let's do this because we have a couple of minutes then. I guess let's talk about real quick how you founded the All Seeing Paranormal Society. Like, if you just want to give a brief little thing on that.
No. I was in the process. I've already had one group, which is CRS. I know. But it stood for Commonwealth Research Society. And we were like, that abbreviation needs to change. CRS. Can't remember. So, no change. But that group had fallen apart. And me and another friend of mine were like, man, we really need to put this team back together. Put a real team together. People who want to learn and understand. So myself and a gentleman by the name of Tommy pulled in Ryan Jones, Danielle Watson, Kristen Whitmer, Shannon Jones, and we started ASPS right in the garage. And I did the teaching. I taught him everything because that's one of the things I do as a historian. What about the paranormal you want to know? As far as, the research, housing, everything. Because you pretty much have to know, if you're going to get into the paranormal field, you better know what you're doing. That's like home building, electrical, the whole nine. You better know. Because if you go in and a lot of these, a lot of these groups go in there and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know about their house structure, and they're giving misinformation to the client. And then teams like my team have to come in and fix it.
Okay. All right. So we can dive more into that as well in the second hour. Now, basically what happens, Ed, is our audience will pose questions. In audience, this is your cue. So in hour two, please post your questions, put them in caps so I can save them. So what happens, Ed, is we won't answer them real time. We save them until the end of the second hour, like the last half, and then we just shoot them at you.
I like that.
After the other. Okay.
Yeah. One of the things I love about your show, you get the audience involved. Not enough shows do that. I love this. I love your format.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot, and the audience feels the same way. So I appreciate you saying that. We're going to go ahead and pause for the cause and get ready to take our first break of the night. right here at Spaced Out Radio. You guys don't go anywhere.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio After Hour number 2 with me, your host, Mr. Rob G. As we get ready to go ahead and jump back into the conversation. But first, let's go ahead and make sure, since you're already a space traveler, consider taking the next step and join the club. That's right, you can join our SOR Space Travelers Club for as little as $5 buckaroonies a month by joining our Patreon. We'd appreciate that you go ahead and do that. And yeah, as we go ahead and get ready to get into it, I have a comment on the screen right below. It says, hit the thumbs up, everyone. Show Rob some love. Come on, guys. Can we get to that 100 on this show? Ed Odell is going to be the most awesome guest that we have this weekend. And we would love the support and the love. So please show that. Ed Odell back in the building. So we're going to jump right back in where we left off. So
real quick,
yeah.
Rob, beforehand, I wanted to answer Amy's. Amy said something about the fact of two Methodist preachers. Yes, if you look up Richard Chaplin, Reverend Richard Chaplin, and actually look up Edson Kinney Odell, Reverend Edson Kinney Odell, those are our two grandfathers. And in fact, a little bit more known history, Edson Kinney Odell is who me and Robert are named after, and he is the gentleman who wrote the first book on Pocahontas. So you can find that it's called the Romance of Pocahontas. So giving you legit. I'm legit, and I'm not quit.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You heard it here first. So, with that being said, we had the your Paranormal Society. So, if you would mind kind of going more into that, and maybe even go over some stuff that you've covered. You said you end up teaching. So, if you could go ahead and finish where you left off.
Yeah, absolutely. We based this team. This is not one of those teams you see out in public. You're not going to see us all over social media. We actually retain all of our information is down filed in a specific location. We keep file cabinets and we keep a track. Why? So we can share with other teams. If we go to a location, we can share that information. Like I work with Project 360. It's another one of the groups I work with. It's combined of multiple team members from all over Richmond area. And we work at the cabin at 360. And what we're trying to do is to confirm or deny the evidence that teams that come to the cabin on 360 may find. Can we give an explanation? Can we debunk it? Can we help people understand it? Well, that's why I created ASPS, All Seeing Paranormal Society. It's a double narrative, if you will. ASP, that's the snake that took Cleopatra's life. And it did not. She took her own life with the ASP. 2, All Seeing Paranormal Society. The eye itself, the all-seeing eye. It represents 2 stages of who we are. We're a scientific-based society that uses special abilities. Members in that team may have high quality of ESP of some form or another, or clairvoyancy, if you will. And we utilize all that information to get our gatherings to the locations that we may be at. And why are we called there? So we come from all walks of life. We've got a gentleman who is a steel worker, another one that's worked hardware, another one that does home restorations and builds homes. We got another lady who works for a police department here in Virginia. She's very qualified. So you have that. Another lady who runs a very specific store. I can't say the name because I don't have the legality to say it. But we have mechanics. We all walks of life. This team has come together because it's a passion. When I brought the team back together, originally from the original to what it is now, 5 of the original members are back with me once they heard that I was bringing it back. And I brought it back 2 years ago. And they were all on board going, yes, let's do this. And they didn't want to do the public investigations. They didn't want to be a part of, social media. It's great and it gets us out there a little bit, but we're not trying to promote ourselves as, and I hate to say it like this, but this is straight shooting. we're not promoting ourselves as what you see on TV or radio or YouTube or any of that. That's not us. We're not. We just don't grow with that. We're a completely different beast. We're kind of underneath. We're kind of that serpent that's underneath the water, waiting for you to need us, so we can help you. Kind of like Godzilla on crack.
Yeah, I like that. I like being a straight shooter. First of all, I love that because I think in this field you kind of have to be, and you kind of have to not be afraid to kind of differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack, because there are, and I'm sure you know, in not just the paranormal, but let's say ufology period, there is a base that may not be as genuine in their intent, is what I'll say. And it's yeah, so it's awesome that you're taking that perspective. What type of stuff have you come across, like maybe some compelling things that you've come across in your
Maybe
society?
a better way is, what have I not come across?
Okay. I got some creepy stuff to show you too, because you're in that field. I'll show you after you talk about this here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen full body apparitions. I've seen shadow people. I've seen all that kind of stuff. I've seen orbs going across battlefields. I've been face to face with an entity. I've been chased by an entity. Wow. Okay, so let me tell you this. Let's go back to the root of where this is. All right.
Mhm.
So before the car accident, 1 week before, no, it's like 3 days before the car accident, myself and one of my closest friends were with a bunch of others, and we were at a location and we were playing with the Ouija board. And what
You're
happened?
playing with a Ouija board? You're not
Yeah.
supposed to do that, I heard. Okay, go ahead.
Well, hold on. This is what Kinshik. We didn't know anything about the Ouija board. We already knew, oh, it's a game. That night is when something really interesting happened. Ironically, I have the car accident 3 nights later.
Wow.
Okay. So did we come across something? I think we did. So you're asking, what have I encountered? And I have to go, what have I not encountered? I even think that I've encountered ufology. And I think they play a huge part, and we misconceive the paranormal in a big way, that it's not paranormal. It's actually ufology that we're dealing with. Now, again, Ouija boards, I know how to deal with a Ouija board now. It's a divination tool. Back then, man, I was 16 years old. You didn't know what you were doing. Even though we were raised in a certain way, I still went against my parents sometimes. Stupid. But I did. They are very interesting, Mag, if they're used properly. But nowadays, what can they not affect? They can affect child's toys with no batteries in them. So how can you explain that? How can you explain the stacking of toys in 1987 in the Toys R Us in California? How can you explain that? How can you explain a lot of the stuff that we come across? We can't. But that's why we're doing what we're doing. And, now at this point where I'm at with this team, they are allowing my intellectual to breathe and to create. And I'm gone back to Tesla research and understanding of what it's all about and why. And we've got some new equipment out because of Tesla technology. So, I mean, it's a path. It's like anything. I've chosen this path, along with, the network and the team and my full-time job. Keeps me going. It keeps me going.
Have you come across things that you've been able to film on video or take pictures of or capture any data on?
Yep. Actually, some of the interesting things, if you go to ASPS-Paranormal on YouTube, some of our older stuff is there. You can see that there's an entity that opens a door. We've captured a manifestation, or the beginnings there of a manifestation. We've got a couple of things on. We've got a lot of incredible EVPs there that you can listen to. We haven't updated because, again, we don't put our stuff out anymore. But by all means, go check it out. It's really interesting stuff. And we've just gone further now than what we did.
I want to show you something, Ed, because this is actually right up my alley. And maybe being in the field that you're in, you could probably give me expertise on what I should be doing here and what this is. Okay, so just a brief backstory. I haven't had in my entire life, I really haven't had any dealings with paranormal, UFOs, any of these things, but
that you're aware of.
That I'm aware of, right? Because I do have the scar that I want to get regressed and see what happened. You're right about that. So as far as I'm aware, I had a sighting a little less than 2 years ago, which is technically my first UFO sighting that I'm aware of. 47 UFOs at one time in the sky, 12 in the afternoon, clear blue sky, no clouds. Unmistakable what they were. Okay, then right after that, I end up having what I'm going to show you here. And the audience has seen this, but because I've been able to capture the data, I never hesitate to show it, right? So this is what I have. If I can bring this up here. And every time they see this, they're like, whoa. And let me see, get on the right one here. Okay. So this was filmed in my house. All this stuff is going on in my house.
Okay.
So this, if you can make that out there down the hallway there at the end of the hall, full body shadow person that we caught on film here in this house. So no funny business, no anything. This is what was caught on the camera.
What do you think it is?
I think it's a shadow person. There's a few ways I could go with this. I'm thinking maybe something related to paranormal, being that it's a shadow person. Right. But then I also contemplate if extraterrestrials have the ability to cloak, is this how they would look? I've also thought about, is this potentially how we show up when we astral travel? So could this be someone astral traveling?
Or self-projection
that I'm looking at. Yeah. So I don't like, what would you think when you see this in your experience? What do you say? What do you when you see this?
Okay, if I'm going to go straight in for that's a possibility of is a dimensional entity. Something we're seeing, because sometimes we have to take science into play. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's the show. The sun plays an effect on our world. Radiation, gamma rays, the whole nine. It's already proven that the world we live in now are hit by 1 billion plus small black holes every day. Just the little pinpricks. Now, the possibility of them pushing something from another dimension and showing it like a projector in our world is a very good possibility. It very well could be a dimensional being from somewhere, another dimension altogether. However, it also could be an imprint of our past, and it's projecting itself again from whatever wood or whatever material could be on that land.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's again the paranormal
like
multiplicity of
energy.
Yes, multiplicity of possibilities. Dr. Strange, it was the exact phrase. It is really interesting. Now, that I have seen before at Selma Mansion in Norristown, Pennsylvania. But believe it or not, it was more detailed. And it was the lady of the house. She walked from one bedroom across the bathroom into her bedroom. And I saw her clear as day. I was just coming up to bring out my sleeping gear and all that. Out of nowhere, walked up the second flight of the stairs, and she just went whoop right across in front of me. I'm like, holy son of a biscuit eater. What did I just freak? I didn't say that. But,
right.
When you see a very good shadow defined situation like this, you're almost left but dumbfounded, and it makes you want to go, okay, I want to know. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
want
Yeah, and that's the thing. And some people, when they report shadow figures, they report like just sometimes some people report just a shadow mass that doesn't really have a physical outline to it. But then you
exactly.
have some that are defined like this one, and so there's different. So it just makes me think like I'm leaning into it being paranormal. And kind of you would need to know the backstory on it. So
It could be paranormal. It could be spiritual.
what happened? This is what happened. So I'll give you the story, and then you can. So we had the UFO sighting. Okay, then a couple months after that, in this studio I'm in now, 2 in the morning, I would literally hear heavy footsteps walking across the roof, and I'm sitting here like, there's no one that should be up there. And but my mind is going through all the plausible explanations, like someone has to be up there or someone's in the crawl space. So
Mhm.
this happened for like a few weeks, to the point to where I went out and I looked just to get it crossed off the list. So I'm sitting down at dinner one day, maybe a month after this started happening, and I asked my lady if she had experienced or heard anything weird. And I asked my son the same thing. Neither one of them heard anything. My daughter sitting across the
Mm.
table, she says she's heard things, footsteps on the roof as well. She's on the opposite end of the house. So we both were hearing these footsteps on the roof. Okay. Then that's when the shadow person happens right after that. Um, we had a mysterious lady, because we have Ring cameras all around the house in the
Yeah.
driveway looking out. So this lady shows up at our door in the middle of the day, and she is asking to come in and use our shower and take a just something random. And we're like the
Yeah.
fourth house off the corner. So I'm thinking to myself, we obviously we declined her offer, and I asked my girl and say, hey, check the cameras, because we're the fourth house off the corner. So I'm wondering if she went to every house asking
Right.
and questions. So we checked the cameras. Cameras did not pick her walking up, did not pick her leaving, right? So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So we have another time where the Ring camera was triggered here in the house, and you just hear knocking like this, loudest day.
Yeah.
And there's no one there. Okay. Then we have what I'm about to show you right now, which is recently we had these orbs. We have a side house here with the Ring in there, and they triggered. I'm doing a show, actually. This is about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I'm in the middle of a show, live show, and my girl kind of opens the door and comes in. She's like blowing my phone up, and then she comes in while I'm off camera, and she says the Ring camera was triggered. This is weird. Look what I saw. And I'm going to show you what we saw. And then you tell me what this is with your expertise.
Careful with that word. There is no expert.
With your experience, I'll say.
I'll go with that.
Do I have it in? I know I have it in here. Okay, I think this is it here. This triggered my camera multiple times. So we have 2 or 3 videos of this thing triggering our camera. We
Wow.
go in there, and you can't see it with your naked eye.
Right.
But it's still in there floating around.
You have a very good class A orb right there. Yeah, that's an energy orb.
Okay. Now we're talking.
I would go with that. Because I don't see where there's anything that could reflect like that. I'm looking at the backlight at the window. And I made a point that, Robert was right. He was asking about the windows and all that. Good point there. I'm in Montgomery County, PA, not far from Northtown. Oh, rock on. Yeah, I did a lot of work at Selma Mansion with Bill Freeman. That is, to me, that's pretty classical, brother.
Okay.
I mean, because you don't have any pets, do you?
We have pets that are not in there. They're here in the house.
What kind of pets?
Chihuahuas.
That's not a Chihuahua. There's no way that even with dander, you can see how it is on float. That if there was anything else other than an orb, it would be a feather. But I'm going to take it you have no birds.
No birds.
Okay.
No birds.
So you can see the circular end in a hollow middle.
Yes.
And you can see it has a specific pattern and it comes down. It's not an insect because an insect has another structure to it completely. That catches me off guard because that's a really good capture of an orb. And I'm one of those that would be the Johnny Depp running down the beach going, I just said it wasn't an orb. Them chasing. I'm not a big orb person. That's a good question, Mag. What are your pillows made out of? Oh, wow.
Cotton.
Nope. I take that back. Mag, this thing has energy trail. Look at that. That actually has, oh my God, brain fart. It actually has ectoplasm. See that trail? That's ecto. That's what an ectoplasm would look like. Dude, that is so awesome.
Crazy.
However,
this is all happening at this house is the crazy thing.
Now, let me ask you, is there anything bad going on there?
No, nothing bad.
It's general, right?
No, nothing bad. And this is usually vacant. This house. This is for our daughter who's in college.
Okay.
And this is no one's ever in there. This is completely dark. This is, I guess, the night vision on the camera that's making it light. But it's completely dark in there, and this is happening. I took a video more recently where it happened again.
Good one, Richard.
And I went in there, and I'm standing to the right where the sink is there, and this thing is floating around, and I'm standing there. I don't see it at all, and then it kind of flies down towards me, towards the sink, and kind of goes out of frame. But I would imagine that you've seen something like this before.
I have seen that before at a place called Bell Nemus Plantation in Powhatan, Virginia. That's why I'm like, wow. And what really catches me is it has a trail.
Yeah.
Majority of your fake orbs, if not all of your fake orbs, do not leave a trail. That's the one way you can tell if it's a real orb. When it leaves a trail like that, a Bell ring camera does not have a default like that. It doesn't have tracking. So that's telling me that's ecto, man. That's a really good pure version of a true orb.
Okay, so starting from there, then Ed. So what would you say that we're dealing with when it comes to that? Is it paranormal or what?
Well, it's definitely going to be paranormal. I mean, it's definitely paranormal. But then again, what's the difference now between paranormal and spiritual? Could that? I mean. Most orbs are what is considered an energy-based form. It's either human or a living entity that has moved on from one to another, one transition to another. So it's a form of energy. That's all an orb is. But in that, capturing something like that with a trail on it, that is like the coup de grace for someone who loves orbs and is into orbs. That's what they're looking for, is that right there. So to me, that's a class A orb, especially with the one with the tail. You got a really good hit on that one.
Man,
I'm impressed.
Ed, and so what I did was, obviously, whenever something like this happens, and with my UFO sighting as well, I get right into researching and trying to compare against other sightings that are similar to get an idea of what I'm dealing with. And when I did research the orbs, I did find other instances where people had the exact same orbs captured on their cameras. And there was one particular one that I saw where, because these rings have speakers on them, you can intercom through them.
It's just like the Wise.
This guy, he had the orb in his garage, and he had the thought to talk through the speaker.
Yep.
And the orb kind of, every time he would say something, he was like, hey, the thing would kind of jitter like that and then keep moving. And he say something again, and it jitter a little bit and keep. So what I'm going to do is the next time that happens, if it even ever does, is I'm going to see if it reacts to sound to kind of build that database. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people are asking, they're trying to like, well, where could it come from? It could have been manifested. Believe it or not, was your daughter there during her going through her how do we say this? Becoming a woman. Was she living there when she was becoming a woman?
No.
Okay.
She's in college now. We've only been here about 4 years now. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I agree that it's possibly a past resident. Again, it could be something that just there's spirits that are called travelers that just walk the earth, walk our plane, if you will. They just pass through. Sometimes spirits are attracted to our own natural energy. That's where attachments come in. If there's chaos, they thrive on that. And if there's a calm, there's some spirits that love the calm. They're going to hang out. Travelers, that's right. What? That's my crew. And I've got to say this real quick. I love the fact that it's interesting how your station is very familiar and very similar to my network. We're both in that traveling stage, cosmic travelers. I love that. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it could be from anywhere. It could be from anything. It could be dimensional. Again, just like that shadow person. It could be a dimensional. The question is what would be drawing it there?
Right. I'll tell you what I did when the footsteps first, which happened prior to the shadow people. What I did was I went online and I checked for people that may have passed away at this address. Yeah. I did a deep dive into that to try to just explain what was going on, and I couldn't find anything. But I figured, okay, maybe someone may have been sick and passed away that was here before. The one thing that I keep telling everybody that I haven't done, which I think will be a key, is to speak to my neighbor who was living here with the previous when they were here, and asking him if they ever mentioned anything strange going on here. Because I told my lady, I'm like, maybe that's why they left. Maybe that's why they sold the house, is to get away from that. Maybe they were experiencing that and they sold the house dirt cheap so they could get away from that.
You just tapped on the number one problem in the world. And I'm going to bring this up since you did that.
Yes, sir.
The problem is not always the spirit. The problem sometimes is us. We move into the house. We're bringing chaos. We're bringing confusion and disturbance. And they wonder why they have paranormal activity. It's because something has disturbed the spirit that's there. That's why we go in. What's disturbed the spirit?
Okay. I like that. I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
That. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, the other thing is that we went to prior to the orb, all the other stuff. Okay. Even the lady coming to the door was strange. It reminded me like
that's a little odd. That sounds like a black-eyed child right there.
Exactly. That's what it reminded me of. So, but I kind of put that to the side. But I'll tell you, we went as a Spaced Out Radio. We went to Reno for a fan party about a month ago, and we went to Virginia City and did a ghost tour.
Oh, so Robert!
Exactly. So now one of our coworkers, Jax, filmed while we were in supposedly this haunted place, and on her film, she caught this orb sort of thing that went across the camera. So, and then we had two people, Science Bob and Lala, who once they went home, they said that they felt like they brought something home with them. So I was just like, okay, well, did I then bring something home with me? And then that's what's going on with this orb.
It is possible that if you have an attachment and you bring it into the home that already has a possible entity, there's going to be conflict in frequency and vibration that could cause serious issues. I agree.
So let me ask you this, Ed. You being in the field that you're in, a researcher, paranormal researcher. So if you took this case on, so I come to Ed and I say, hey, I got this crazy stuff going on. How do you approach it? And then kind of what guidance do you give or advice in a situation like that?
Well, first thing is, and let me answer this, Sierra. No, I'm not familiar with Chris Belisaude's Bledsoe's orbs with that. I was just going to say that real quick.
Yep.
Because I'm trying to capture as I can. How would you handle that? First of all, the first thing I'm going to ask you, is there anything negative going on? Are you and your wife fighting? Are you on medications? What do you think would be the purpose? You would tell me, well, I went on an investigation, might be here. Okay, well, that gives me a clue. First thing we would do is tell you, we're not going to just do a one and done. We don't do that. We're there for 3-4 times because no one is going to get evidence on the first run that's going to be plausible. You want good, solid evidence that you need. That's why the Vatican, that's why any well-established group knows it's going to be more than one time. This is the same thing with Ed and Lorraine. That's why they went to these multiple places over and over again, because they have to get the documentation. We have to have the understanding. How many different things and how is the environment going to respond? And why is it responding? Are we going to communicate? Can it tell us things? We're going to do an interview with you. We're going to have one of our associates that is tuned in with us to kind of scan the location and you to figure out what's going on with that. Is there a personal problem? Is it a spiritual problem? And the next thing is we're going to walk you through. If it's not hurting you, it's not causing an issue, why are you bothered by it?
Right.
Another thing we failed to do is a lot of these entities were here first. So why be upset about something because it catches you off guard? It catches you off guard. That's really it. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
And if more people would live to deal to live with the situation when it's nothing negative, what could you be doing if you increase your research in that? You could increase the negative reactions to happen because now you're adding an environmental issue that is outside of the home into the home that the spirit may not want there, because you're now invading their space. A lot of people have got to think about that. Again, I go back to it. We got to respect the spirit.
Yeah.
I use spirit as a overall, just like entity. You won't hear me use the G word very often. That's no, I don't like using that word. The ghost word.
Yeah.
I hate that. But you got to remember, we're going to do our research. We're going to understand what is going on. Why is it? And if it's not interrupting you in your life, it's not affecting you mentally or physically, it's just something out of the ordinary, why not embrace it instead of try to push it away? We're so quick to push things away.
Yeah. I've heard that before, Ed. And that's why I always ask anyone that's in this field, and that's great advice. Because I'll tell you, and just like I've told others, there hasn't been anything that has happened that has been, I would consider, malevolent. It just seems pretty passive, if anything, just kind of showing. I figured that it was just showing itself that, hey, I'm here, and just acknowledge me, essentially, and we can kind of move on.
Depends on your religion. Remember the good book, okay? Christianity says that in the book not to speak with spirit, but yet throughout the book it's speaking to spirit, right? Kind of weird. Catch 22. Okay, we're not going to get into the religious factor, please. However, it's the factor of you're communicating with the entity. Why don't you just act like it's a family member? If nothing is happening and it does not start, and there's no, okay, the lady coming to the door, that would make me a little unnerved, because that shows the potential of something malevolent or malicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't invite it in. If it's already there, maybe the spirit that's there is that's there to protect. And it's
Mm.
your job to make sure they're comfortable. They take care of you as you take care of it, unless you brought an attachment in.
That makes
People are
sense.
so quick to jump, man.
Very good logic. Very good logic on that, because yeah, I can see that. And yeah, so the evil entity or whatever it is trying to enter the home, and this is trying to protect. And if I look at it like yeah, that actually sounds really good, and that's great advice.
Now, something else I have to say, and I see Nikki. She's saying, clear oneself. Absolutely, but don't go running around and starting to light up. And I'm not talking you, Nikki. I'm talking about in general in the public. Just because something's going on does not mean you want to go start running around and lighting up sage and going, "Oh, I got to clear the house." That could piss them off. Now, I'm going to tell you why. You know what sage is? It's spiritual pot. That's all it is. It's a neutralizer. You could piss them off depending on the spirit if you're using the wrong sage, if you're using the wrong thing. Don't just go cleansing your house. Know what you're dealing with before you start diving, because you can make the matters worse. So just like a paranormal team, they come in and do the wrong thing. They start triggering little things. They've just made the problem worse for another team or for you as the homeowner. You ask what we do, we stay in contact with you. You call us. Hey, Howie, I got something going on. Hey, Howie, this is, we're coming back out. We got you back. What do you need to talk about? Or you call me, man, this has been great. This is going on. Cool, man. Just remember to communicate. Just walk in and say, hey, guys, and keep you going. Acknowledge them. Maybe all they want is acknowledgement.
That is awesome insight right there. Never really thinking about as many conversations as I've had on this subject, because I have to bring it up with the paranormal researcher to get advice, and that's actually been probably some of the best advice that I've gotten so far. It just makes sense that if you handle it the wrong way, that it could be something that could get worse. Just like scratching a wound and
exactly,
it gets nasty and infected. Yeah. So
it's an infection. It's a spiritual infection.
I like that, Ed. Okay, so I might have to call you to get advice, man, and
No
figure
problem.
this out. Sounds like you're the real deal. So I'll say that. It definitely sounds like you really have invested a lot of thought into and into what this might be. So that's appreciated. And it just kind of shores up what you were saying earlier, that you're not with all that extra. You're really trying to get down and
you know what? I got the radio. That's my little tank. We've got the network. That is my little fish tank. I'm happy with that. I don't need to be on TV. I mean, I've had the offers 3 times, turned them all down. I could have done what everybody's doing and running a Roku or whatever. I mean, I'm friends and good connections with Haunted Nights, good guys. Tennessee Wraith Chasers, they're connected through them. Chris and Mike, they're over at the cabin right now, which is only 20 minutes away from me. And, I could be there, but, you also have to know when to say no. And I'm in no physical condition to research or investigate. And it's a public investigation. I can say no and know my boundaries. That's the other thing we have to be very careful of, is not being able to say no, especially, all right, there's levels, there's ghost hunters, there's paranormal researchers, paranormal investigators, there's multiplicity of levels. Okay. We were all started as ghost hunters. So pardon my French on this one. I don't give ghost hunters crap anymore. We all started as a ghost hunter, but what degree are you planning to go from that? And that's what I did. I learned, I studied, I teach my team. I'm a teacher. I'm a paralogian. That's why I do what I do. I want my team to know exactly what's going on, know as much as I do, so we can handle a situation. If we can't, we'll find the right people. Like I said, I'm not a demonologist. Am I friends with them? Yes. Most of them are conceited. Oh, I stopped myself. Did you see that?
Yeah, it almost came out. You're good though. It's
Yeah.
safe place. You're good.
But they're really conceited. So I have a problem with certain demonologists, but I do know a lot of them. My mentor, Bill Freeman, taught me a lot, but I'm still not going to call myself a demonologist. I mean, have I seen a demon? Okay, this is something I've never talked about before, but you know what? Hey, I don't care. Have I seen a demon face to face? I've seen something that may be a demon face to face, but I can't say it was a demon. How do we know? Okay, here's where I'm really going to scramble your mind and go, now let's get into the gooey. How do we know that what we think is a demon and we see face to face is not an alien from another world and its spirit is here? Because how would it act? How would you act if you were on another world and you were 4 years old? You would act like a temper tantrum little child, right?
Right.
Well, don't, look at these spirits. Look at some of these demons acting the exact same way. So how do we know it is a demon and not an alien?
And they're trying to conflate the two as well right now in the the government, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
They're even trying to do that or bring that up is they're not ETs, maybe they're demons.
And on the vice versa.
Exactly.
They're not thinking about the vice versa part of it. They're like, let's go biblical. Hell, do you really think that the Vatican is sitting back going, we don't know what you're talking about. We have none of this. But they got a whole 2-story library of the world down below and don't think it's not there. We all know it's there. Let's not fake it. They got everything from everything that's there. You're going to tell me they don't know about aliens, etc. They admitted to it 15 years ago. That's why they started their own research. That's why they built their own telescope, because they know aliens exist.
And since you're on aliens, what is your thought process on the current state of disclosure? Sounds like maybe you do follow this stuff.
Scare tactic.
In what way?
They're losing control of society, just like the church lost control of society. And now they've got to get back to it again. That's one of the primary reasons why the church was even created, was to control man, to control those people around them, and they used the church to do so. Place the fear of God or place the fear of the church into you, because the government lost it. And now we come here and the government is lied to us so much, they've lost control. So we create 2019, we create, and take something good, be okay, into something completely evil, wrong. And then they want to go and shoot. Oh, it's all Antifa. Bear with me. I'm not shooting into one thing. I'm using this as levels, folks. So they control it. Oh, by the way, 2019, we had killer bees, we had flying spiders, and we had COVID. 2021, we had killer bees. 2022, oh, look, it was Comic-Con, but we had a couple of things. 2023, the bees. Guess what? 2024, flying spiders. For God's sakes, give it up. It's all about a fear tactic. Now, since the aliens are starting to fade off, this whole idea of the premise, now they need to create something else. It's a fear factor. Let me point something out to everybody. They've been here for thousands of years.
Yes.
And we're still here, folks. Okay, so what? Some of us are meat bags. I hate to say it like that, but I'm being honest. Okay, but the fact is, we're still here. They didn't blow us up. They didn't take us away. They didn't do anything to us. Look, they helped the Aztecs. They helped the Mayans. They helped the Egyptians. They helped Mongolians. They helped the Asians and Siberians. Where is the common sense in that?
Okay, so let me ask you this. With that being said, are you under the impression that all ET are here to help?
No. It's also known that there was a nuclear war here that was pre-existing Egypt. We also know that there's 4 different points around the Earth that have an EDF, an Earth Defense System, that actually is in the ground. You can go check this out for yourself. One of them is in Siberia, and they think this is one of the units that shot down a UFO. I think there are so many different races we don't know, and not all of them are good. For God's sakes, they don't want us in the universe because we're freaking cockroaches. You know why? We like to blow shit up. We
Yeah.
like, because of our ego, we like to blow things up and kill things. It's ridiculous.
I've thrown that out there. That they are here to make sure that we don't go out there and take some of the nasty stuff that we have with us.
And that's the germs too.
Yeah.
I mean, this
yeah.
planet could kill life out in their universe easily. You know,
Well,
not even talk about us as men and women.
And the fact that we're about to sit here and poison the entire planet, right? We're about to sit here and destroy the planet we're sitting on.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we go out there and destroy some other planet?
Exactly.
It's very likely that we would do that.
We would.
So,
because
so
we're egotistical. We're driven by ego and driven by greed.
Yes, and that's a whole. So that just lets me know that we're definitely going to have to end up having a whole nother conversation based on that, because I could go all day with that. Yeah, so we're going to set it up for sure. So what I want to do, because we got 10 minutes, let's get into do you have anything specifically that you want to let the audience know, or any message that you may want to deliver to the audience?
Oh, man, messages. Whoa, careful. You know, the one thing is, I tell this to everybody. I'm not always a nice guy. I don't always wear a white hat. And that's just the truth fact of it. I'm real. And everything I say, and all my travelers know, what comes out of mouth is legit. It's squared up. I don't hide anything. I don't sugarcoat anything. I try to be a gentleman. I am a gentleman until it's time for me not to be a gentleman. I respect this planet. I respect everybody, but the people who show the lack of respect, I don't have a lot of respect for. That I will say. As far as, you know, the group, just look forward to see what ESPS does. If you're going to follow us, we appreciate it. You're not going to see a whole lot, but maybe you'll catch something. You can also catch everything I do over on the Rift Nation Network. We're right here. R period, I period, F period, T period. We had to put that in there because there's so many riffs. So the riff actually stands for Radio Emission from Time. So there we go again. So it's like a full-time job working with Susan Swanback, keeping that network going. We only got 4 or 5 shows, but we like our little shows, and we're going to grow. My show is again on Sunday nights. I also do Paranormal Outlaws, and I do another show called What's Going Down. These are all passionate shows. That's why I got into doing podcasts, because it's a passion. I got burned out in the paranormal, and I'm watching it happen again. I'm watching so many TV shows, so many podcasts coming out now that it's saturated. Nobody knows where to go to, and nobody has allegiances or loyalty.
Right.
With the exception, you've got a lot of loyal fans, and I have a lot.
Yeah, we do. We do. We love our fans.
Props to everybody.
We do love our fans. And so, hey, I'm open to come and having a conversation with you on your platform as well.
Yeah, come on over.
Just to have the conversation is really what matters. Regardless
it's not just me. You got to deal with Rhonda too. Miss Rhonda will take it.
I thought you had a +1 today. I was expecting a +1. So,
well, I do, but she's 3 hours away. She lives in Roanoke. I'll be moving to Roanoke. That's 3 hours away from Richmond. Rhonda is like my dearest, one of my closest friends. She's also the hostess of the Orion Effect. She goes to her own jive, man. She goes her thing, and I never affect her. I'm like, do your thing, girly girl. You know. So.
Well, I got to tell you, just like you said, I'm the same. You know, everything you outlined. I'm a realist, and I'm going to give you everything that I have until you show me that I shouldn't do that. And that's, I think, you know, when I look into any guest that I bring on, there has to be some sort of some connection there. That's why I know prior to the interview that we're going to have a great conversation. It just is off your character and the energy that you give off. And I just knew, I was like, okay, this is going to be one of those. And
Hey,
it
we didn't
definitely
even go
turned out
down any rabbit holes, man.
we
Did
didn't,
good tonight.
which is beautiful, because usually on the first interview we're kind of just, doing this, and then usually on the second one is where we really dig in. But I'll tell you what, I know the audience totally did appreciate this tonight, and it was a breath of fresh air, I know, for them as well. We did have a couple questions that I captured. I know Deb from SAC was asking, can an orb be an angel?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm angelic, so I'm a Nusian. So I strongly believe in that. I am a huge researcher of angelic understanding, studies, and vocabulary. Absolutely, orbs can be angels and they can be demons.
Okay, and with that, I guess there was actually oh no, this is more of a statement.
Okay.
Someone was saying that Ed and Elizabeth Warren, Amityville Horror House, they saw a demon there. And then Richard Minnick wanted to know again, what was the name of your channel?
The channel, you can check out the channel. Let's see, I don't know what's better way. Let me do it this way. It's R. Here, I'll tell you what, guys. I'll put it right here. Now, and make it a little easier for everybody.
It may not let you if you post. Yeah, if you spell it out, but if you don't, if it's a link, it may not let you do it.
No, I'm not going to put it as a link. And yeah, I know. Gotta love YouTube.
Right.
There you go, guys. You can find us there. And we're on Twitch. We're on Facebook. You can find me at Ed Odell on Facebook. You'll also find the Riff Nation there. We're on Instagram. Yeah, we're just a small little network, and we're growing. We're taking our time with it. We're not trying to rush it.
Yeah, same thing with my own channel. I have a separate channel as well, and I feel the same way. I feel like organic growth and slow growth is actually better than trying to sensationalize something in order to kind of gain viewership. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, Joe, Cosmic Joe Chronicles. I'm now a Universal Life Church minister. Rock on. That's what I'm talking about. I believe in all religions. All religions are the same in the same base. I believe in all.
Yeah, I believe there's definitely a higher power, and I think that's what all religions at least agree on that. And
if
that's
we wake
all I
up
need.
to that, I think life would be a lot easier for all of us if we woke up to the idea that this is all the same.
Yeah, and just understanding that something had to create you. So regardless on, and that's kind of what I get into, it doesn't necessarily have to be something you call God. It doesn't have to be this physical entity. It could just be the processes that create life.
The name
just
thereof.
Like, right, the energy, any of that. Just as long as you understand that something created what we are, that's all you need to know. And then kind of go on with that. So Jennifer says, Jennifer, so here we go. So I got to tell you, she said you didn't answer my question. I definitely want to have him answer your question. So if you could repost it, put it in caps. You understand when you're engaged in the conversation, sometimes you miss.
Yeah, re-ask the question.
Please do. We got a couple minutes here. Please go ahead and post
Come
that.
on, Jen.
You can do it, Jen.
I love philosophy. Philosophy is awesome. That's how we get to our answers. You got to ask questions.
Ah, man, that's what I do here. Okay, that's Sierra. Okay, Sierra's asking, how does Ed know whether an orb is an angel or a demon?
You really don't know. Supposedly, now here's interesting. It's supposedly by color, by texture, and by the formation of how it's set. Now we're dealing with science. When we go this way, we're talking about frequency and vibration. It's really interesting on how this all can go. I love that question, you bringing that up. I mean, how do I know what an orb really is? I mean, that's another point. You better do your research. This is where coming into homes and understanding how dust can come from anywhere. It could be dander. It could be dust coming from inside your walls, from underneath the floor, shooting back up. It's according to what I'm understanding, when it comes to an angelic orb, it has more of a bright light. It's more sparkly. Demonic or more spiky. This is my understanding. This is what I've been taught. Yes, frequency, absolutely, Nikki. And they can react. You know, Rob, you were talking about that orb reacting to noise and saying hello. There you go. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Jennifer got it. Can you sage to cleanse your own negative energy?
Oh, sure. I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we do it constantly. That's one of the things I will say about my team, too. We open with prayer. We close a case with prayer. We all have different points of view, but we all do it together. We leave clean. We come in clean. So, yeah, by all means, you can cleanse yourself. There's different ways. Okay, now you're going to touch on the spiritual side of me. There's cleansing baths you can do. There's different things and different potions that you use to help cleanse your soul with. And music, it's all about frequency and vibration, depending on your hertz. Everybody's hertz is different.
Awesome, Ed. It's been a pleasure, man. I really do appreciate you coming on in. Next time, though, you got to bring that awesome hat, man. That's why I put it on the thumbnail.
I was wondering if you're going to ask me about the top hat. It's actually out in the car. And like I said, today has been kind of a rough day for me. So I haven't been moving around a lot. So I was like, the hat. And everybody's like, what do you mean the hat? My tribe knows. And I love the fact that Rob brought it up. I do usually wear a top hat, a very steampunkish kind of spacey, kind of like Doctor Who, if you will. So
yeah,
I'll definitely wear the hat next time.
Adds to the mystique, man. No, but you were awesome, period. So I'm glad that we were able to do this, and we're going to do it for sure again soon, because there's just so many places we could go, and I just already know, I see where you're at, and I think
that's why they call me the Paranormal Mad Hatter, man. Let's go down that hole. I'm good. I'll dive in.
Well, you got a new ally here, man. So we're gonna stay in touch, and I'll talk to you soon so we can go ahead and book another date.
Sounds good, brother, man. And thank you all so much for tuning in, being here. Props to you all. Thank you, and may virtue be yours.
All right, Ed, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. You take care, sir.
You as well, brother, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Same to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, later. All right, guys, you already know how we do. You know how we do. I'm gonna play the radio bumper, and it's we have conversations here on the After Hours that move the needle. That's what we do here, and that's every conversation you see is like that. Sometimes it's not. Look, sometimes it's spiritual strictly, right? But regardless what topics we end up covering here on the After Hours, you know it's going to be a conversation that is designed or set to advance us. You walk away from this, I think, more enriched and, with things to think about and process. And that's what this is all about, having these conversations. This is how we get where we're going. So we're going to pause for the cause as we get ready to jump into hour number 3 right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Conversations that move the needle.
Conversations that move the needle.
You're listening to After Hours with Mr. Rob G on the only place where you can own the night. Spaced Out Radio.
Spaced Out Radio. You've tuned your dial to the right frequency.
All right, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio after hour number 3 with me, your host, Mr. Rob G, as we get ready to go ahead and take this thing home. This is the hour where we take things home. We will be joined momentarily by our guy, hour 3 guy, Travis Mustu. We'll do a little stuff, and then maybe we'll end it off with a little something that's a little fun, right here on Saturday night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. So before I do that, let me go ahead and run the commercial. We don't have ugly swag, guys. Go ahead and check it out.
Hey everyone, guess what? We do not have ugly swag. We have Spaced Out Radio gear that you're going to want to wear. Why? Because no one wants to wear ugly clothing. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com and go shopping today. You'll be glad you did. And it's a great way to support our show. Once you get your gear, send us a picture of you rocking out in your SOR swag. spacedoutradio.com, shop there today, and make yourself look good.
All right. Yes. Make yourself look good. It doesn't, you go right over to spacedoutradio.com/shop. There's, as Dave says, a plethora of options there for you to go ahead and pick out all types of t-shirts. I have the After Hours t-shirt on right now. You can get this at the Spaced Out Radio store. You can also get the Rob G Alien Head, which is right there. You can get the Alien Head Rob G t-shirt. Castle Dude, our guy in the UK, he says he got the Rob G Alien Head draws. Hey, that's what he says. I'll just take him at his word. But you can get your Dave Scott draws. You can get your Dave Scott panties are there as well. Just the Peak Woo shirts. Everything's there. We got the Grand Tavius Max shirts. We have just the endless options of things there. So make sure you guys go ahead and go over to the Spaced Out Radio store and pick something out. And then Not only that, this is what I'm going to also show you. This has not, and actually, truthfully, I was just made aware of this. So let me show you guys something that maybe you didn't even know was there over at spacedoutradio.com. Let me just navigate there real quick, because I'd like to actually kind of show you something real quick that maybe you might be interested in. All right, so here's the website. Let me go ahead and bring it up. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the website, spacedoutradio.com. Just show you a few things. Obviously, the shop button is going to take you to where you can get all this awesome swag, right? The Dave Scott draws are here, SOR t-shirts. We have buttons. We have all sorts of things. Kind of just flipping through the page here. The shirt that I have on is right here. Let's see. We got something for the baby. We got the onesies. The Grand Tavius Max shirts. Oh, El Omni Volador shirt. You got to get that. Let me show you. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, this is. Let me show you the Rob G. Oh, we got some new stuff in there. Okay. Pretty awesome. Space Out Radio socks. We got hoodies. And we got the Rob G Alien Head After Hours t-shirt. Let me just go ahead and bring that up real quick. Look at that. That's the Rob G Alien Head t-shirt. You can get this in the multiple different colors. But look at that. That's pretty cool, right? Definitely consider going ahead and doing that. Let me actually show you what we came here for. This is what you guys may not have known is there. The SOR fan zone, right? So you get the SOR swag. You go to the SOR fan zone. This is where you get to post your stuff at, right? So you put on your SOR swag. You go ahead, take the picture. You fill out this information here, your email. You can even type up a little message and then choose files. This is where you would upload the picture of you wearing SOR swag and then hit submit. I don't know if many people know that you can actually do that at the SOR fan zone. So that's part of the page is set up for you. Please take advantage of that. You could be on the SOR website just wearing your SOR swag. So thought that was something pretty awesome that maybe you did not know about, but it is an option that is there. So I would, I would recommend that you go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do now, let's get in with our guy for hour 3, kind of kick it, shoot the breeze, Mr. Travis Mustu, author extraordinaire of many, many books now. The latest one is, he walked away just as I was throwing it to him. So I'll just hold my hand out like this until he gets back so he can go ahead and promote the latest book. There we go. Okay. So, author extraordinaire with books galore that you can get at Amazon.com. Latest one is The Mars Bug Wars 3 Ultimate War Machines, which I have a character in, and it's an awesome read. So far, I haven't got to finish it. But guys, make sure that you go ahead and support Travis Mustu in his artistic endeavor into writing his books. So with that being said, how you been, Travis?
Oh, super busy with a lot of things. And yeah, I've been excellent though. Like I said, busy, but keeping on top of everything and getting things done. So yeah, I got a lot of things coming up here. Like I said, with I got my position, so I've been looking forward to taking part in I should say, looking through all the archival information and gathering that together and making it available and easy to understand for those out there. And like I said, it's a lot to go through because I have to cover so many different reserves and nations that were part of the mission school in St. Bruno in Jusart area, Alberta. And that school, like I said, was there was 2 of them. So I have to kind of go through a lot of the archival records, both here in Alberta and in Ottawa and a bunch of places. So like Yeah, it's gonna be tough, like a tough like subject, but like I said, same time, it's very necessary for everyone out there and the future generations. Like when when they have to look back from the history and to get it right, because right now, where as it stands, it's being taught, it's being talked about, but it's not being talked about in the true fashion that it was. And but we're just there. We're gonna go through it and make sure that everything is what it is, right? Like that's why it's very important that I do my job very diligently and like go through all the names and get true I should say numbers, right? How many people were there, and things, and how many people returned home, and why, and those that didn't, why didn't they? Is there any records, death records, things like that on that level? And then next week we got cadaver dogs coming out, so search for bodies, and we got ground penetrating radar and to come out, and we've already found some, and but yeah, like I said, to find the means to those names and those why those were found buried there.
Wow. Now, when you say that, you mean for bodies of people that have belonged to the tribe over the years? Is that what you're trying to catalog and uncover?
These are children that were taken into missionary schools after the treaties were signed, and they were taken from their homes, and a lot of people were never made it back, right? And and there was a lot of abuse and things that went on in those places that shouldn't have, even though they were run by the church and the faith. But it wasn't. It was like I always say to people, like try to bear in mind that it was people using that word of God to commit atrocities and crimes for different factions out there at the time, right? And so like what I'm getting at is like there was people always denied it, that there was that case out here in our area until we started finding missing people and bodies and recovering that kind of evidence, right? So it's very very important now that we do our job right, and for this what it's going to become. And the end game at the end of the day, like I said, is to make it more known for history, to make it an area, a government area, like a not a government area, but I should say like an area that's similar to like a graveyard, or like a government sanctioned zone, and like make it like a memorial for those and for future generations to see. And but yeah, like I said, it's very important to us, and part of that 7 generations of healing, right? So it's a part of that call to arms kind of legislation and commission kind of deal. So
wow. Well, I gotta applaud you for that, man. That is so heavy and so deep and so important. And wow, just and it's it's, I don't look for the right word. It's like a honor almost to be able to be a part of something like that. And you're doing good. Wow, that's I know you've brought that up before. I recall you talking about the atrocities that took place. But now that you are a part of a committee that's there to kind of curate and memorialize and kind of bring to light the reality of what happened, that's pretty deep, man. And you're a good dude, man. So I know you'll do a good job doing that. And I know you'll, like you said, due diligence. I know you'll take that approach for sure, man. So, God, that's awesome. Sad, right? Sad, but very, very awesome for you to do that, man. So that's you're just that guy, man. You're that guy. What yeah. As far as the books go,
yes.
So with the Mars Bug Wars, I just want to make sure that every time you come on here that you get a chance to kind of promote that to the world, and just just being able to express yourself artistically, because like I always say, I can appreciate an artist and what it takes to create something out of nothing, to kind of manifest something into reality. It's not easy, and someone should be applauded and rewarded for the work. So I want to make sure that people get out there and get the book, and because it's a great book so far, right? Everything I've read so far, I'm really feeling the characters, you know what I mean, and I'm really feeling the storyline. So I didn't know how I was going to come into it, but you are actually pretty good at writing these books, man. So what's on the horizon for your? Do you have anything in the works for a new book, or where are you currently at? The manifesto.
So we have a brand new, like, I have a whole new book coming here. I'm just about done it. Like I said, I have all these like panels, comic panels that are ready to be organized and put into it. So this one's gonna actually have like tons of like comic pictures that I've been kind of doing here. I just want to
let me get you big screen. Hold on here.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of like everything going on, like comics. Like I said, it's gonna be great here. So people are gonna get like a whole bunch of like extraordinary stuff, man. Like, check this out.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. The artistic style, it kind like it really fits the writing. The stuff you have in the current book, it really fits into the storyline. So I already know that this is going to be awesome. Guys, you got to make sure you go ahead and support Travis Mustu on this endeavor. He's really a good author. It's not just me sitting here saying this. I've actually been able to read the stuff that he's doing here. Let me bring that back up. That's the current one. That's the one that I'm in. So if you don't get anything else, get this book, because I'm in it, and so is Dave Scott. We have characters in this book. So
and filth
as well. Yeah, and Dirty Filth. So which that's an honor in itself. So yeah. So and Purple Cupfish says looks a bit space punk. It kind of has that futuristic dystopian, like I was saying, cyberpunk sort of feeling to it. So that's actually pretty awesome. So you guys make sure you are supporting. Now I don't know if you got a chance to catch the guest here today. He was going over some
I did. I was tuning in and out here and there because I was busy at my other job that I was currently doing. I was at work, and then so I was checking you out. I was tuning in. I was seeing that he had some videos up, or he was showing. I think he said there was like apparitions in his video or something, and I couldn't really.
He was actually checking out. That was my video we were looking at. Have you?
Okay.
Yeah. So he was really giving me a pretty good breakdown of it too. Let me bring this up here. This is the Mars Bug Wars right here. This is the one that he just showed on the screen. Let me blow that up. Okay, here it is. This is the Mars, and I'll put the link in the chat right now, guys. And I know it doesn't work. The link it's a really long link, so I don't know if the chat will take it. We're gonna give it a try. If not, all you do is go to Amazon, click on the Kindle button. I don't think. Let me see.
Are the books? Just click on books and search for it there. That's usually how I found it. And so this one was like I said, this is a great series. I really like I said, there's more coming. Like I said, this was it was a very enjoyable like I said, project that I worked on, and came with a lot of visions of and predictions for the future, technological predictions, and in that sense. And also you're good. Like I said, the art style and just like the whole viewpoint of the world, of that world, and it's really aimed at I wanted just to have a great adventure for the first two books, and then the third one kind of like really gave the I should say a well-rounded picture of the whole world, and like the kind of the history of it. And so they're all great together. And this next one that I've been making is like kind of like an explanatory, more about the world and that the history of it. So that's kind of like you guys are just getting a little sneak peek into that.
Yeah, and see, I'm into that whole futuristic sort of thing. Actually, there's a movie. It kind of reminds me of this. There's a movie that's called Blade Runner 2049. Have you seen that?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that film. Yes.
It's
Yeah,
the
that was really
best.
good.
It's the best. Oh my God. So, and I like that kind of stuff. So this is what it reminds me of. Just that whole, like when I envision the world that this is in, I envision it in that sort of world. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it might be where we end up down the line, right? You may be
Yeah.
writing, a book about what happens with us at some point in the future. So I don't know if that was your intent, but yeah.
So yeah, a lot of so it's like see, I like that film, the 2049, and their idea of like the AI like starting to have it's like they are their own like beings, I should say, and stuff. But in this like, that's the reason why I call them animatronics and stuff like that, robotronic, is because they're still being controlled by merged humans with supercomputers. So they merge their brains and are able to still control these robots and into that degree. So like they're still controlled and still operated on that level. But like I said, it's still humans that are wanting to go with a future of merging with technology and becoming themselves, replacing themselves with that robotronic future. That's kind of like that's like the robots in my story, is that on that level. Whereas the other side of the Federation of Humanity wanted to be more of genetically modified humans and take it through that evolutionary stage of evolving. And they do that through their genetics. Yeah. And
you think about it.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, finish.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. So it's like, and so you get a lot of squads in the book. Like there's the Death Squad, and but they originally were Dark Squad, and you have like the Bear Squad, and all the pilots are named after birds, and it's because they are genetically modified with animals. And the Dark Squad was more or less like a gecko / reptilian. They had more of those reptilian genetics, so they can regrow limbs in battle faster, and with regeneration pods. And there's others, like I said, the pilots have eagle eyes, so they have the eyes of an eagle and traits of that, right? So they're able to fly these at these supersonic speeds and different capabilities. And so like I said, the Bear Squad was like these massive, huge, like 9-foot tall soldiers that were more like walking tanks themselves, with the genetics of a bear, with the strength of a bear and the height of it. And it's like I said, they're just monstrous beings, right? So it's like it's on that level. It's kind of like more aimed at like merging with animals and evolving through that and creating these next level superhumans. And the DNA code is like totally structured out, and they're able to design human beings to whatever they want them to be. It's like.
So let me Amy WC is asking the question as you were saying that, asking, is there a tradition in your tribe about half humans?
Yes, there's quite a bit of different type of human beings, like even like animal beings that were more like humans. Like they had human characteristics. Some were stood upright and fought and moved around, but they still had they looked like animals and beings. And like I said, in our lore, ancient lore, what our people used to fight out here were the Pascawawi Mustus warriors, right? And these were the buffalo warriors, and these guys were man buffalo eater warriors. And they actually there's a few names for them as it goes down south, right? Some people call it Pashawan and stuff like that. Right. But these guys were like humanoid warriors, and like I said, they were characteristics like they were like a buffalo, and they actually roamed the plains and tribes, and they actually were very warlike, and our people had a very hard time fighting them. And there were stories of them just like totally just destroying, like having wars and just being able to rip heads off and rip people apart. And like it was pretty just like gore somebody with their head and stuff. But it's like so these guys were like, they were tough warriors, and our tribes that have to fight against them all across I should say from east of Canada to out west in Central America. But eventually they were wiped out. And what ended up happening after they were wiped out was a spiritual practice and process of these buffalo skulls. You'd see skulls that are like hoisted up on like staffs, and they're like ribbons, and they're tied off as protections. And that's like to ward off and keep away those evil buffalo eater spirits, because those spirits come around and they'll try to latch on people or destroy them or kill people, or they'll wreck, like I said, it'll be like a poltergeist in like a house kind of deal, like that level of haunting. So like they'll be like smashing everything in a home, and like I said, they could just choke somebody out or throw them against the walls, or and so it gets very dangerous. And so a lot of times those skulls will be set up in areas or around places left in the land, and then there's a difference though between that and then also prayer skull, right? A buffalo skull that you pray with, because there's a different meaning to it, right, as well. But what I'm getting at is like so like those half humanoids, there was them. There was also a lot of snake men and snake women, like snake keepers of the mountains and stuff, and also Atomos, which is the dog people, dog men and women, which are like they actually like they would have like they'd be able to shapeshift in between, like if they had to be there with somebody, talk with somebody, they can actually turn half of their body and stand upright on like wolf or coyote legs, and they'd have half a human body and still be having their leathers on and stuff and talking with folks, but they'd have like half a human top, right? Like very jarring stuff, but that would be the case. And not only that, but like I said, like a lot of the snake people and they, like I said, lizard folk, they were always around, and we more or less referred to them as Sisipi Kokons, or it's like water dragons or water snakes, or like it's along that line. Like there are different kind of names for them, but they were always referred to living amongst the river and swimming in the rivers, these river lizard folk. And but yeah, like they were very different kind of like beings who traded, and they were very spiritual, and they had a lot of connections to that like I said, the universe, and they had very esoteric beings. They had a lot of esoteric ceremonies that allowed them to connect with the beings of inner earth, and they were able to go through portals and have ceremonies that would have that energy come up from inner earth to heal, right? So they had all these kind of like shape-shifting abilities and whatnot, because like they wouldn't even sometimes they don't need to even turn into an animal. Like they turn into different kind of elements and things and be able to just disappear or go like smoke, just
Well, let me ask you this. Sierra was asking Travis, what do you think of the merit of warrior culture, war versus or war culture? So warrior culture or war culture, what do you think of the merit of either of those? Oh, Travis got knocked out. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
We're having severe thunderstorms. My bad.
You're good. You're good. So Sierra was asking Travis, what do you think of the merit of warrior culture, war culture? So warrior culture or war culture.
It was always there was always an aspect of bravery and protecting the tribes and protecting the people of the tribe and looking out for one another and in those times. So there was always that. And then a part of that, they were more like hunters and living with the land and survivors, right? Like surviving and so when the wars changed for us, because it was very different. We used to, like, when we'd find another, say, two hunting tribes that come together, like eventually, like they'd finally come across each other. It could end up in there's two ways it could have ended, and that was either in like both the parties shooting arrows and spears at each other, throwing spears at each other and fighting with clubs, war clubs and knives, or it took your best warrior, your most strongest, I should say, spiritually connected to the world and universe, versus their most strongest connected, spiritually connected to the universe, and it took place with these staffs. So these staffs are very dressed and traditional. They wore these traditional things on them, and whoever hit each other first with those staffs would would win that battle and the hunting ground that day, and the other hunting party would have to vacate. And usually that's how it would go down. And that person would end up having to do a bunch of ceremonies and things to regain that honor and connection to the universe and stuff, right? So it's like so it's like there's a very different belief there. So when the other, I should say, the other side of the world started venturing over here, and they started lining up in lines and aiming with their, blunderbusses and their Springfield rifles and, all their, black powder weapons, I should say. And, we didn't understand that. So we just walked in there and started fighting and running in and climbing walls and jumping from trees. There was no lining up for us. So we created a whole new warfare. That was called the guerrilla warfare, and that's like where we just ambush and ride in, raid, and keep riding out, and then they think they were gone and come back in and finish them off, and different kind of like. So it was a very the wars and the fighting had to evolve and change because of different standards of fighting, and also the other side of the world didn't believe in what we're sort of used to was like I said that engagement of like if I got you with that, then you'd leave the land and that would be it, right? So it was like they just kept sending more people to fight. So the wars it just got more blood, and there was a lot of spiritual people who didn't want to have the fights and stuff and do the wars, and there was a lot of that across the I should say the nations and different tribes, but there were others that had to right, because they'd wake up and all of a sudden there's bullets being shot through their teepees, and horses and army people running in, and so it was like they had to just rise and strike and fight back, and it created that warrior culture, and a lot of the beings and animals started lending themselves to help and defend, and there was like a lot of that going on. So it was very spiritually connected too, like when it came to war, and it was like it was never without guidance, right? Like it was whatever was means of necessary of survival at that time, and but for us, like it's very much like part of that teachings, right? It's in the seven teachings of that, 7 virtues, and that's like lines with our our centers and our lights within us, right? There's 7 lights, so it's part of that honoring of the people and the culture, and like I said, being brave and standing strong for them. And that's what it was looked at like at the time. So
that is awesome, and appreciate you sharing that. And Deb from Sac says, abduct the like button. I haven't checked the likes, but I would appreciate if you're here on X or any other platform you may be watching from. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, it kind of jogs the algorithm and kind of get Spaced Out Radio out there to a broader audience. So I would appreciate if you guys could do that. I don't know where the numbers are, but Deb says abducted. So I would agree with her. Last question here, Travis. We had from Purple Cupfish says, do you think some of these stories have been alien encounters?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of these beings, we're already referring to them as sky beings, right? And there's a lot of times when star people came down and picked up some of the village ladies or women and had children with them, and these men and women would end up growing up in our tribes, and we know them as star child or star boy, or star girl, or different people like that, right? And they just grew up. They looked just like us, but we knew they came from somewhere else or beyond. And there was also a lot of the teachings too, like when you hear about it, and the spiritual people come down and visit and give ceremonies and certain spiritual objects like star blankets and skirts and things like that. Well, I should say that they gave a couple, but then after a while, people started to emulate their designs, I should say, that they seen on their clothing. And but like I said, there's a lot of these I should say stories and tales where it's leaning more towards that, like warriors approach the white buffalo calf woman, and they wanted to take her for themselves, and before they could grab her, lightning struck from the sky and turned them both into ash, and leaving the one warrior scared for his life, and And then she's like, I'll return back in, you know, these so many days, and you guys have the biggest teepee you can build here for me, and I'm gonna pass your people on a gift, like, you know what I mean? And so they did, right? And he went back and told them the story and stuff. But like when I hear that, like, you know, obviously it leans more towards this, you know, from people, beings in the sky that lightning bolted those two warriors down, right? So there's a lot of that in consideration to that. But we always say that, like, the star people, the star nations, and our connections to them, and knowing what comes from them and what comes from our elders beyond, and yeah, there's a big difference there with that. And but like I said, they come to our ceremonies. You know, they'll show themselves either energy wise, or they'll be there in spirit, or they'll show themselves like in but they'll be there, but you don't see them because they're, you know what I mean, like they have these dimensional frequencies that we just can't, you know, see with our regular eyes at this time. But in time.
That's awesome. I appreciate you answering that question. Now, Travis, what we're going to do here is we have something that we're going to do with the audience here. And I know you're in a different time zone, so if you have to go, I can understand that. But we're just going to, you've been here before when we did some trivia, so you're more than welcome to hang around. Or if you have to cut, I do understand. Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll chill out for a bit. I'll see what the questions are and stuff. It would be cool. You know, I was yeah.
Cool. That'll work. So Travis is with Travis's game on a Saturday night. Deb from SAC is game on a Saturday night. So why don't we go ahead? She sent me a list of questions, which means she can't participate, but we will go ahead and run some of this spaced out trivia real quick here for 18 minutes of the show and see if we can come out with the winner. We'll ask all the questions that she has posed here. Not all extraterrestrial, some are just general questions. So everyone has the equal opportunity to go ahead and maybe take home the crown tonight. We will go ahead and let's see. Van Gold, we already did the questions. And so at this point, we're cutting the questions. Travis is here every Saturday. So save your questions for Travis. Don't use them all up in one day. Save some for next time. All right, here we go. We're going to run it last 18 minutes of the show here, 17 minutes. All right. So question number one, and actually I have to get in the YouTube chat. I keep forgetting that because everybody will say, oh, you're not being fair. Go ahead and do that real quick here.
I was laughing there the other day. I caught Tim Mothman there, Timo. They're just leaving a bunch of. He was answering, but they were like a letter. He's mixing the letters.
What was
that?
that?
It was so funny.
What was that? Tim Mothman. Oh, he's not here tonight. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. So, yes. For question number one, these are all just random categories as well. So, what is the name of the comet in the movie Don't Look Up? What is the name of the comet in Don't Look Up?
That's a good question because you know what? I think I've watched that movie once and I cannot recall at all right now.
I watched it probably 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and I definitely don't know what it is. In Don't Look Up, the movie Don't Look Up. Okay, can't recall. All right, going once, going twice, 3 times, gone. No, it is Dibiasky. Dibiasky, Dibiasky, if I'm saying that right. Question number 2. Name the 3 alien movies Will Smith is best known for. Name the 3 alien movies Will Smith is best known for. Van Gogh says Men in Black, Men in Black, and Men in Black. Not necessarily. Independence Day, Men in Black, and Men in Black 2. That's right. Salty D. Salty D with the correct answer. Independence Day, Men in Black 1, and Men in Black 2. Nobody wants Men in Black 3. I don't know who's in that. But that's the correct answer.
That's a funny name, too. Good name.
What two alien movies are Spielberg most known for? What two alien movies are Steven Spielberg most known for? You can give me abbreviations. Okay. All right, we got it. Jennifer, looks like Jennifer got it. It is Close Encounters and E.T. Two awesome movies.
I can tell you right now from a lot of my astral travels and things out there that, like, when that last scene of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like, most of those ships are really out there. Like, they do look like that. Like, and you know, it's a very unique thing that you see out there. And but yeah, that was one of the things that struck me when I was watching. And I was like, wow, yeah, there's a lot of those out there. You know,
the mothership. Let's see. All right. How many of the alien movies has Sigourney Weaver actually been in? How many of the alien movies has Sigourney Weaver actually been in? No, I'm just gonna Deb. I'm sure Deb did the research on this, so I don't know the answer, but I'm assuming that this is correct. And to Mothman, the answer is 4. All 4 of them. So I guess the other alien movies weren't alien movies; they were spin-offs or under a different name. Is what I'm assuming. It, like Alien vs. Predator and I think Prometheus or something like that. So those technically, I guess, weren't alien movies. Is the logic there? All right. What is the correct spelling of Kuiper Belt, and what is it? What is the correct spelling of Kuiper Belt? And what is it? Kuiper, K, Kuiper Belt. Yes, well, I'll read it again. What is the correct spelling of Kuiper Belt, and what is it? So I don't know if anyone's gonna get it. All right, going once, going twice, 3 times. The Kuiper Belt is Kuiper Belt, B-E-L-T. It's a region of the solar system with comets, asteroids, and other small bodies made largely of ice. Next question. NASA officially says we have how many dwarf planets? Yeah, the Kuiper Belt is an asteroid belt within the solar system. NASA officially says we have how many dwarf planets? Yeah, it doesn't seem like they know. The answer is 5. 5 dwarf planets. All right. And that's Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Haumea, and then Makemake and Eris. What causes an eclipse?
Yeah,
What
you gotta like
causes?
that.
Huh?
Oh, you gotta like that name, Makemake.
Yeah, Makemake. I know they named that after something. What causes an eclipse?
Flat earthers don't like that one.
Let's see. No, Joe Monk, I'm asking the questions that I've been presented. These were given to me by a dev from Sacramento. I have no input in the question. Don't blame it on me. All right, so I'm gonna give. I'll give this to. I'll give this to Polly Rotterman. I mean, the superposition between the sun and the moon. I'll give you that because there's different type of eclipses, lunar and solar. So you technically, depending on what type of eclipse you're talking about, right? So we'll give that to Polly Rotterman. All right. Next question here. Let's see. In what year did Benjamin Franklin discover electricity? In what year did Benjamin Franklin discover electricity? Aloha Dave got it. 1752 is the answer. Let's see. In what year did Columbus sail the ocean blue? What year did Columbus sail the ocean blue? In 1492. Everybody knows this is a rhyme to help you remember the year. Magneticus got it. Sailed the ocean blue, 1492. Though we could we could really go into how horrible that was, but let me see. Let's go. Let me get one that you guys might get. Let's see what we do. Okay. What is considered the most famous gem in the world? What is considered the most famous gem in the world? What is considered the most famous gem in the world? I see the answer, but let me make sure. Let me check the YouTube chat. Say who got it first. Looks like Joe Monk. It's the Hope Diamond. Philip Blair saw this gem. That's awesome. All right. Let's see. We got like 4 minutes here. What movie featured the characters called precogs? What movie featured the characters called precogs?
Yeah, no, that's another one of those. I'm like just lost when I hear that name.
You know that one? You know that answer though?
No, I absolutely don't. I'm just like lost when I hear that. I'm like, I don't even know.
Okay, looks like Joe Monk got it. It's a Minority Report. All right, and we'll ask one more. Okay, let's go with who painted the Mona Lisa and in what year? Who painted the Mona Lisa and in what year? Ron J, this is a talk show. You missed all the talking. Where you been? This is the last 15 minutes of the show. We're doing this. So you missed all the talking, Ron J. Where were you at? Catch us on a replay.
Yeah, he was out there being square because he wasn't around. All right.
Let me see. Let me see. Is that right? I'll just give you whoever got the artist right. We'll just take that.
I was gonna say first two parts easy to answer, but like that last the year, that's where I got kind of lost on too.
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci, and I think Joe Monk got that. Let me see. Yeah, Joe Monk got that. All right, let's tally this up. Let's go ahead and see who wins the battle here. All right, so we got Salty D with 1, Jennifer with 1, Tomothman with 1, Polly Rotterman with 1, Aloha Dave with 1, Magneticus with 1, and then Joe Monk with 3. So that means Joe Monk is the winner of tonight's trivia. Joe Monk, congratulations. Let's go ahead and get ready to wrap up the show. Yeah, I think the 2-part answers makes it more difficult. So that's what we'll do. Like the 1-part answer, if you at least get that, then we'll take it as a correct answer. So with that being said, we do have a winner for tonight, which is Joe Monk. So congratulations, Joe Monk. Now I'll go ahead and get ready to bring this show in. And like I said, yeah, we finished the last 18 minutes of the show off with a little trivia. So what? It's okay. We'll survive. And Travis's YouTube link is Blue Lightning Cards, right? YouTube.com/@Blue Lightning Cards.
There, and also on TikTok. So, apparently. Alrighty.
Definitely. All right, Travis. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Thanks for coming in. Obviously, we'll do this again next Saturday. Anybody who had questions that we couldn't get to for Travis this week, save them for next week, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we ask those. We do appreciate you coming in, Travis. You take care, man. Till next time.
Yes, take care, everyone. Stay safe out there, and Examaga.
All right, later. Okay, yeah. Dang, Deb, what you? What was this? A SAT test, Deb? You got to come with the single answers. Let me go ahead and get ready to get this music out of here. All right. So definitely want to go ahead and thank the people that came in tonight and played a part in the show. Definitely got love, right? Got love for everyone who came and hung out with us. We had an awesome conversation with our guest today, Ed Odell. If you missed any of that, go back and check it out. So Ron J, if you came late and you just caught this part, you missed a great show. Go back and check out hour 1, hour 2, and pretty much all of hour 3 until the last 18 minutes. Outside of that, we definitely want to thank our super chatters who came in tonight. Deb from SAC showing up. Deb from SAC again showing up. Mama Catherine Jones showing up. We appreciate your love. Aloha Dave, thanks for your love and support of Spaced Out Radio. All you space travelers out there, since you already are space travelers, consider taking the next step and joining the club. That's right, you can join the Spaced Out Radio Space Travelers Club for as little as $5 buckaroonies by joining our Patreon. Consider doing that, and consider going to the Spaced Out Radio swag shop. Get yourself some swag. And then where I showed you on the website, the SOR fan zone, go ahead and click that button, fill out the little form, and upload your photos there. I promise if we get enough uploaded, we will be posting them to the website. With that being said, to all the viewers and listeners across the globe, regardless what side of the world you're on, we definitely thank you for tuning your frequency to Spaced Out Radio, where we do what we do all the time and what we do best. And what's that, you ask? We own the night. Have a good rest of your night. Be back here tomorrow, because guess what? Preston Dennett is in the building tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. And then in hour 3 tomorrow, we're going to have Jackson Lee with the super surprise. They promised a surprise for me, and I can't wait to see what that is. So make sure that you are right here at Spaced Out Radio After Hours tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, guys. You guys take care.
Conversations that move the needle.
Conversations that move the needle.
You're listening to After Hours with Mr. Rob G on the only place where you can own the night. Spaced Out Radio.
Spaced Out Radio. You've tuned your dial to the right frequency.